Just want to say, this is some of the best spooky lo-fi music I've encountered in a minute. It's not Halloween, but Vitale spooky. I felt like this was appropriate, warranted, even. Live soon. We're getting started soon. Thank you for the lyric. How you doing? Happy Monday. Please work away. Please. Oh, it's Tuesday. But yes, I totally get it. Yeah, I totally get that. It's my Monday, and I think that's good enough. Alright, thanks for your patience. I'm done posting random stuff. I got back in today and needed to prep everything for the stream. So that's why we're starting a little bit late. But it could be worse, I suppose. I am nervous. I think I'm ready. Psychologically, physiologically. For reading the story for a couple hours. I do not know what's gonna happen. I don't have many guesses. I do think it might be harmony chaos instead of harmony and desire. I do personally like the concept of desire better as Vitale's placement within the pantheon, but you know, I think we've dined well so far. I trust that this final meal will be just as flavorful, and I'm looking forward to trying it. So here we go. Hi, so this is the outfit. Obviously, we're working with, you know, the same base model, but I decided to do the strings, the straps up here. There's two of them. They have like little ribbons coming down with tassels on them. So I decided to leave the tassels as like dermals because Vitale has piercings on the face, but I don't have access to that. I did look for silver chains. Try to get some silver chains for the hands, or like some like waist beads, waist chain kind of things, or I could use waist chains and put them on the thighs or something. Could not find anything. I really did look. No luck. But my basic jewelry, my ear cuff and nose ring are silver, so that tracks. I obviously changed the hair color. I did some eyeshadow, quote unquote, on the mesh. Let me scroll out a little bit. Let's give you the full feature here. Removed one of the legs. It's usually across. There's two here. You can't quite see how red the gradient is on the back part of the frill, but it's there. Little like dark red to black on here. I wanted to do all black, but I feel like the thing about this is you can't really do full like hex code 0000. I mean, is it? Yeah, F is white. 000000 is black. You can't do full like 6 zeros black, or it loses all the definition of the shading of the fabric. So I decided to do red and black, and then like you can see like this is more like a grayish black here and on the frills. Red nails, of course. Yes. I wish I could have done something with like the arm lacing that Vitale has, but I just didn't have it. Nothing I could do. But I'm excited. I think it turned out really. It's nice. It's a fun little look. For better or worse, for all intents and purposes. But yeah. Let me just check and see. Before we scoot over. Yes. I might move it down a little bit. Just so when I laugh, it doesn't like peek off the top of the screen. Like my head doesn't get cut off. Yeah. Let's see what this guy's up to. What's he doing? What's he about? Again, nothing's been too overly saucy in the last couple of runs, so I think it should be. It could be scary. People might die. And I'm pretty sure Vitale is excited about that. I think that's kind of his deal. So I anticipate that happening. But I don't know about anything else. Don't know what else he has planned. What else might be in store? No clue. None at all. Turn the game up a little bit. Oh, wait, there's that one. Okay. The one hood guy. Maybe that's gonna be the B plot love interest. Maybe we'll actually get to meet Eros this time. What's that guy's deal? Clearly they're friends. There's some connection. I also actually set up... Let's take a look in here. I set up the expressions on the outfit to do the arm up as well. Which, if you're interested, obviously there's still a month left in the summer season. So if you're interested in purchasing this for your model, it's very versatile. We have this as well. I might leave it for this, for the first section. Maybe I'll put it down later. Just kind of cute, I guess. And I haven't used it yet, so it's different. Alright. Intrigue. Fear, danger, excitement. My weight dropped against the bed in my dark room, unable to cave to the lull of sleep just yet. I couldn't stop thinking about Vitale's words. Now, in the chapter 1 of this story, I don't think we get to talk to Vitale any more. There's no... Actually, the chapter 1 didn't include Vitale. In the original demo, you get to see Vitale for like a second afterwards if you choose Vitale, and it's just... he's hiding out in the wardrobe in your room. And it's like, you don't get to talk to me yet. You don't get to have this information yet. But he's very spooky looking and beautiful, hiding in the darkness of your closet, so... I think that happens now, but I guess we'll find out what he has to say that's different. Killing Eros was possible. But why would he tell me that? What does he truly want me to do with that information? He even told me that he's always here. Always watching. Part of me doesn't believe it. Perhaps he's playing a sick joke on me to pass the time. Could be. He seemed like someone looking to be entertained. Indeed, for sure. That's a good read, Melrose. Sometimes you don't do those. He said he'd appear if I called him. I didn't want to, but I felt curious. Would he really come when I called? To a little old human? How do I get him to come here? Vitale? Are you here? It felt strange to say aloud, almost like a ghost hunt. If you're here, please come out. I cringed. And it didn't appear that he was coming at all. My room remained quiet with no sign of him in the slightest. You're gonna wake up with him sitting on your chest. Sleep paralysis demon style. Didn't work. My body stiffened as my eyes scaled to the closet. This was the scene that we get in the demo. A pair of wide eyes stared back at me from inside. I felt a scream bubbling up into my throat, but I steeled myself and tried to return his gaze. Shh. Quiet yourself, dear Rose. Oof. Hold on. What the hell is that? What? Sticker on your face? I peeled the sticker off my face and tossed it the best I could. When it didn't leave my fingertips, Vitale grabbed it and stuck it on the bed frame. What's going on? An uncharacteristically cute bird sticker. I can't believe you actually game. Which one did it? They all worked. Far simpler to just say my name, but all sufficed. Leave off the formalities. I've already made it clear that I will come whenever you call. So you'd come even if I badmouthed you? Hypothetically speaking, yes. But do be prepared for my inevitable response to said badmouthing. Never mind, then. About that Eros thing. But as you can see, he's got a lot more going on than I do. I thought about doing like red trim on the outside of the bra, but I don't know. Maybe I can change it up. We can do a V2. Yes? He sat at the edge of my bed and regarded me attentively. Is it really true? You said it'd be difficult, but I could really kill Eros. Yes. If the stars align and all the cards are in your hands, it is possible. That's simple. Do not sound enthused. Oh, you do not sound enthused. Shouldn't you be thrilled to kill him? With your declaration, I figured you would be delighted to try it. His teasing words earned a scoff I barely caught. Despite that, it didn't seem to faze him as he offered a smirk. Killing Eros was a crazy, drunken thought. It sounded right at the moment, but I don't think I'm capable, even if I hate his guts. So I don't want to try. But if I'm being honest, the thought of an all-knowing God dangling the idea in front of me dampened the urge. Smiling, like he knows me well enough to believe I would take the offer. I won't give him the satisfaction. I can't do it. It's stupid anyway. The game is quite loud. A human like me can't shake up the world of you gods that easily. Not even if you ask for my assistance. I paused, studying his smile, every bit of playfulness still within his tone, but those lips didn't strike me as mocking. No. I said it's too outlandish. Cold feet. Sorry to waste your time. Time could never be wasted on you. Other things can be gained from our conversation. His pale green eyes glinted as he stared into mine. If it hadn't been clearer, this god, Vitale, wanted something. But why choose me? Whether to feel blessed or alarmed, I didn't know what was appropriate, but I was curious, for sure. Like your cooperation, dear Rose. In exchange for your deepest desire, I want you to help me answer a question. Couldn't you answer it on your own? I'm not so good at trivia or whatever. Surely there would be no need to involve you now, if I could. Point taken. What do you want me to do? A Cheshire grin smile stretched across his face, eyes crinkling with giddiness. What an abnormal god. Just as I thought that, he brushed his gentle fingers against my cheek. From this moment until my question is answered, you will dip your toes into whatever I tell you to. Hovering just above my face, Vitale grazed my bottom lip with his thumb, and his fingers tipped my chin. The intense eye contact sent a shiver down my spine, heart pounding aggressively at the sight of him. Complicated feelings cropped up in my mind. When the time is ripe, and you have observed everything, you will give me your best answers. What's the question? Something to be discussed later. For now, rest. I will return to you in the morning. Without so much as a good night, Vitale vanished into the darkness of my closet. For several minutes of fluttering eyes, I fought my exhaustion, wondering if he'd reappear. When it became apparent that he was gone, I finally drifted off. Curious. Vitale's POV. What the hell is he doing? Where does he go? Well, we don't know. Nothing is perfect. This shell that you've formed is a tree bearing deliciously forbidden fruit, with hands meant to be held on to forever, never to be severed. Eyes that love indiscriminately, seeking another who will gaze upon you just the same, desperate, longing. A mouth that soothes and lulls a person straight into your arms. Lies, manipulation, deceit, desperation, selfishness, possessiveness, obsessiveness. Are these inherently evil traits? They are negative. But you are a complex being, yes. The words themselves are only as harmful as the acts you commit with them. Can I look past these qualities? I have seen all there is to see. What do you mean by that? What are we? A bird chirping outside my window pane brought the morning in smoothly. My rest had been long and peaceful, something I hadn't had in a while. I rose from the bed and opened my closet, grabbing a few clothes before leisurely heading for the bathroom. Sunny days like these were usually the ones where I planned the course of action, and a shower was the best time for thinking things through. The mix of showering and mindlessly brushing my teeth oddly added delight to the experience. When Marlo lived here, I'd hear the TV from the other side of the wall ever so faintly. I didn't think to turn it on myself this time, so the apartment was quiet. Oh! Vitale! Should I wash behind your ears? Ah! Flinching, I whirled around to feel my body press against the wet tiles of the shower wall. Vitale, full of amusement, stood directly behind me. Unaffected by the water pelting him, he appeared oddly dry to me. Why are you here? My voice came out as more of a whine than anything, flushing under his scrutiny. I feel like whenever Melrose is distressed, his face just like melts. He chuffed in response and let his eyes scale from my feet to my face. Attempting this demure act before me is cute, but uncalled for. I have a great understanding for your usual behavior. Act demure? I'm literally naked in front of a god. Even I have my limits. It's good to know, Melrose. And what is that supposed to mean? Relax yourself. I have seen all there is to see. Your exposure is nothing new to me. He'd already seen me naked before? Apparently he's been watching you for a long time, Melrose. I'm so sorry. Just how much does he look at when he's watching me? Make no mistake, the intent is far from perverse. It is only to observe you. That doesn't make me feel any less embarrassed. Oh, dear Rose, you misunderstand. I'm merely explaining without an effort to ease your embarrassment. Ugh. Reassuming my position faced toward the shower head, I figured the faster I finished cleaning, the better. My earlier fumble caused me to drop my toothbrush, but I didn't dare to pick it up while he was still present. With the small space between us, I could think of a million humiliating accidents that could occur, alongside maybe another foolish thought or two. Would you like me to wash your back? Can you please leave the bathroom? He really is the watcher. Just watching away. Once out of the shower, I made myself breakfast and sat on the couch with the TV going. A pair of heels shadowed my every step, with Vitale hovering behind me. His amusement never left his face. He was doing it on purpose. No doubt in my mind. Perhaps bored and wanting to play around with a human. Yes, it is boring, but I am genuinely enthused to be in your company. You can read minds now? Your face tells all, Rosie. I don't need to be a mind reader to see your displeasure. Didn't explain how he answered as if responding directly to my thoughts. Whatever face I made caused him to chuckle gleefully. A light sound that graced my ears in a way that his teasing felt worth it. With an appearance as imposing and otherworldly as his, I didn't expect to think he was cute. Perhaps I should have been more fearful or cautious. If he was a god, it made sense to carry some respect, right? Unfortunately, I couldn't help that my gaze bordered between respect and disrespect. He was as beautiful as those fancy ball-jointed dolls. Covered up so tightly in his vintage clothes, a peek of his palm and wrist gave the impression that his blackened hands stretched beyond his sleeves, and his nails glinted a vibrant red. Ah, the visual kei of it all. The thought of what the rest of his body looked like beneath the layers crept into my mind. By the time our eyes met again, his grin widened. I'm sorry. What is there to apologize for? My appearance makes you curious. Look as much as you desire. His teasing demeanor made it impossible to play off my embarrassment at being caught. I liked to view myself as a forward person, but I think I've been outmatched. Or he had the upper hand because he was a god and he's been secretly watching me for God knows how long. Just saying. I registered it before, but like Dr. Love, his beating heart peeked through his blouse. I wanted to ask why, but I didn't want him squeezing any more entertainment out of me, not after having checked him out a second ago. Actually, thinking about it, I forgot that though he's a god of something separate, he does have the form of a punished Cupidine. I am curious to know how he went from being a punished Cupidine into becoming god of something. What's the trajectory for that? What's the career path that includes that for a Cupidine? As I sat and thought, he took it upon himself to eat one of my syrup-covered toasts. That's mine. It tastes as good as toasted bread and syrup could possibly get. What's the fuss? Filling my stomach? What do you want? He licked his fingers clean like it was second nature and averted my eyes. Sorry, I averted my eyes to avoid watching closely. Finally, you've asked. We can get down to business. It nearly occurred to me that you'd forgotten last night's conversation entirely. I don't know that he could have, but okay. Kinda. The memory of a human is as fleeting as the lifespan of an ant, I suppose. Then can you just tell me? Oh, I guess Melrose forgot about it because he was drunk? Confirm or deny? We made a deal. I'm here to enact the first part of it. With an outstretched palm, Vitale adopted a serious tone, expecting me to accept his hand. The lack of being upfront about the deal made me weary, but I figured there wasn't much room to decline anymore. Besides, he was going to grant a wish of mine in the end, so it couldn't hurt to go along with it, for now. A shroud of darkness enveloped the surrounding room once I took his hand. As I grew frantic, he cooed for my silence. Don't be afraid. It's only temporary. With a whirl of wind and darkness whisked around my head, but I tried to calm down as he instructed. The moment was brief, returning to normal shortly after. Oh. All right. Except the feeling of a cold band around my throat, the charm of a human heart dangling from it. And you have a non-torn shirt on. That's great. These are wonderful changes. What's this? It will protect you, just as that fountain pen, should you ever find yourself in danger when I am not present. Do not remove it, and keep the pen with you at all times. I can't take it off when I shower? No. Not until I remove it myself. What's going on? The thought of what might happen if I did so anyway occurred to me. Then I saw an unamused expression cross his face. You're welcome to test me, dear Rose. I haven't had to punish a human over something severely trivial as following directions, so it could be a breath of fresh air. Nope, not worth testing. What do I do with them? Because it is infused with Eros' arrow, I believe the pen can be used against other entities, including Cupidine, just as it can harm Eros himself if used correctly, of course. Am I gonna go around killing supernatural creatures or something? Exposing yourself to those meant to be unaware of you is essentially walking into a lion's den. The pen is your weapon. Oh. I put the pen into my pocket, then returned my attention to him. And the choker? Territorial claim. Oh, it's... Only an ignorant fool will see it and try to do harm to you. As long as you wear it, they should practice caution, or even avoid you. It also lets me know exactly where you are, even when I'm not watching, and offers you entry to my domain. So I'm a possession now? of the things I explained, that is the thing that grips your attention? I mean, I'm essentially wearing a collar. Why are you suddenly drawing attention to that? It takes a lot to simply be my possession, let alone my pet. So I'm less than a possession? Does that matter? Are you going to rack your brain over the prospect of a deeper meaning? Maybe I don't want to be reduced tentatively. It only serves to ward foolish enemies away from you and provide an escape route if need be. Thinking too deeply about the word choice will only complicate your mind. Unless you would prefer to be my possession. Though he didn't appear frustrated or annoyed, the intensity of his gaze at the proposal made me fidget with my pockets a bit. What did it mean to be something like that for him? Was there a privilege? An advantage? Frankly, I'd had enough of being someone's supposed bingo prize as of late. Maybe it was a good thing that his intentions lacked that. Then let us carry on with our discussion. He leaned closer, giving me the once-over before taking my hand again. At the carnival? What the hell? When he mentioned carrying on, coming to the amusement park was the last thing on my mind. In fact, it was never there to begin with. What did this have to do with anything? Why were we here? I kept questioning it for nearly an hour of walking around with him and trying to dodge every security guard I could. I should pay for a ticket, at least. We just teleported in. While we weren't getting on any rides and only using the regular booths, I feared eventually being asked for a pass. Not Melrose the rule follower. Vitale continued ignoring my concerns, concentrated on scooping one particular capsule out of the tank. What are they doing there, actually, though? An uncharacteristically cute red otter. You have the perks of being a god? Oh, sorry, you have the perks of being a god, but if they see me... You seem to have the answer to your concerns already. Stop thinking so deeply about it. Humans have regulations and rules to follow. Laws. I'm currently breaking one by being here. Explaining common knowledge to me adds nothing to the conversation. I nearly had it. I'm saying that I'll get arrested or escorted off the premises if they catch me. Frustrated with his last attempt, he turned to me and shoved the spoon in my direction. What game are they playing? Spoons? You're babbling too much nonsense. Here. Get me this capsule. I looked at him incredulously, but he seemed pretty damn serious about me getting the capsule for him. Fine. I took the spoon from his hand and began wading through the water to retrieve the one he wanted. There were many variant colors. Hell, even ones of the same color in other parts of the tank, but he wanted that one specifically. None of the others satisfied him. By the end, I had a bag of at least 10 different capsules. Here, you finally have your red otter. Oh, wait. Handing it over, I realized that the other otter had a defective print compared to that one otter had a defective print compared to the other I'd gotten. The paint on the face had been stamped on wrong. This one has a defect. Are you sure you still want it? I caught 2 more of them. Vitale plucked it from my hand and tilted his head fondly, then wordlessly tossed it into a black void that led to who knows where. Probably wherever his home was. He'd been doing that to every prize or item he... What is this? Is it like... What's going on? He'd been doing that to every prize or item he fancied, even some food. He'd eat half and toss the remaining portion into the void. Jesus Christ. Maybe it wasn't his home, but a hoard of something. Worst case, it was just a trash heap. Maybe. Come with me. Okay, wait. Given he was much taller than I was, keeping up with him felt like exercising. He had an easier time slipping through the crowds of people when we walked. It amazed me that no one seemed to comment on him at all. They were aware of his presence. Some even interacted with him, but no one brought up his otherworldly appearance. Not even once. We're getting on this ride. Right here. He cut into the line directly behind a couple, and the woman behind him gave a silent apology for being too close. He had to have been doing something here, but I couldn't understand. Closer, now. We are here together, are we not? He noticed my lingering outside of the line and grabbed my arm, tugging me in place next to him. The swift motion caused me to bump into the guy behind me. Oops. Sorry, I stepped too close. No problem. I bumped into him. I was the one that should have been apologizing. Looking up at Vitale, he seems to have focused on the couple in front of us. Why doesn't anyone register you? What do they think they see? The human mind sees and thinks what it wants. Pay them no concern. It's bizarre. They are perceiving us as something natural, leaving us be as if we belong. And you're causing that? Yes, Rosie. Are all of your questions answered now? He snickered, making fun of me. I frowned in protest. With that, he resumed his nosiness toward the couple boarding the boat. Our spot in line had us as their companions. Only then did I realize we were on a love boat. The cutesy cupid-like bears on the arch made me look at Vitale, figuring that he might like them. Instead, he wore a look of disgust on his face. So this is how we're represented. I can't. Are cupids not allowed to be cute? Cute bears or something? What's wrong? What's the matter? Vitale? In fact, he kept that expression for the entire ride, even while watching the couple in front of us flirting with each other. Ugh. The decorum choices of this ride need to be overhauled. The addition of cupid bears throws off the mood. It's a Valentine's Day theme. Or an attempt, more like. Rather they just keep it to hearts and birds or something. Why birds? What are birds? Birds? It's not that bad. A little corny, but I don't think the couples are really focused on the decor when they're riding these. Honey, that one looks like you. Really? A duck of all things? If I'm that duck, then you're the one next to it. I guess that makes sense since they're a pair. I stand corrected. What does Rose usually do on a ride like this? The smirk on his face read to me as all-knowing. He already knew of my escapades on these kinds of rides, and yet he still asked. There was no shame for me in it, but I couldn't fight the heat that reached my cheeks. It's impolite to ask questions you know the answer to. Then why are you doing that so frequently? Perhaps I should punish you next time. No, I mean... What do couples do normally anyway? You already know the answer. Rose has a little bit more of a riskier interest, however. His comment resurfaced as an old youthful memory of a slightly horny trip on a swan boat. I snapped my head at him, face red as an apple. Just how much have you seen? Don't you have other people to watch over? Why do you know that? Happened upon it. As I have plenty of other things about you. Chest swelling and stomach aflutter, I scratched my head, opting to let the topic pass rather than explaining myself. It'd only lead to more embarrassment, and I didn't want to be any more flustered than I already was. But I wanted to know why he observed me even more now than before. The same could be said about this couple. Why were we watching them? The rest of our time spent at the amusement park consisted of tailing this couple every step of the way. No matter where they walked, Vitale and I would partake in whatever attraction and still have time to trail behind them. And off they go. Were they fighting or something? So what were we being nosy as hell for? Sorry, I keep dropping this thing. I slipped on an icy drink while watching the pair get into their car. Vitale took my cup for himself and proceeded to whisk us back into the comfort of my apartment's living room. I don't think I can get used to that. You will have plenty of time to do so when you utilize your choker, although it will only bring you to and from my domain. Now, the couple we followed today will be your assignment. He rotated his neck and lazily rubbed it with one hand while drinking my drink in the other. That couple? What am I supposed to do? What we did today. Watch them. Or rather, watch the woman. I'll tell you her basic daily routine, and you will observe her. I sense something in the air with that one. He raised his brows with aloofness about the situation. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I don't know what's up, but I feel very something. You want me to become a stalker now? I have a life too, you know. I can't follow her around every day. That's true, you're not getting paid. Nothing else should matter to you for the next week, other than eating, sleeping, and maintaining the job that I have given you. You won't have to watch her forever, but this is the dipping your toes in part. Understand? I didn't exactly like it. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I feel like things are moving very quickly, but I probably, as you can tell from me tripping over my words, I feel very confused about what's going on. Or did until just now, which I guess, you know what, I suppose it's alright to be as confused as the protagonist and not necessarily have information that he doesn't in this circumstance. I think it probably adds to the intent of not really understanding at all what Vitale wants and what Vitale's goals are until maybe another hour or so in. But I am curious. The couple seemed in good spirits. They seemed happy and in love. We're just gonna watch the woman. We're just gonna be following her around. Vitale's teaching us how to stalk people. What is his goal? What are your intentions? What is the purpose? What are we doing? Why? I feel like my issue is I have so many questions about what's going on and why. And it's distracting me from paying attention to what I'm reading in front of me. But give me a second. I'm gonna go get some water. I don't have any. I just have an energy drink here. Do some stretches, walk around, and be back in 2 minutes. Taking after Sovereign Triumvir, I'm gonna see if I can hit an ad break now to prevent pre-rolls. Well, I think I already have. I think I've shut off pre-rolls potentially by allowing them to do the little bottom text ads. But let me take a look before I set it up. Where is it? All right, I'll do a 1-minute ad break here and leave the music up, and then I'll come back. Okay. I feel a bit more locked in. We're ready to go. I'm nervous, as I said before. Nothing bad has happened. Just a quick little recap. So he comes to us in the night, like incubus style. After we called for him, we did call for him. We did invite him in. And asks us to do a task for him in exchange for fulfilling a desire. He doesn't really say which one or what desire in particular, but Meryl's is like, I mean, I get something I want. It sounds like a deal. So we're not a pet. We're not necessarily an employee. We're not a possession. But we do have a collar that we can't remove and a job that we have to do. In addition to the fact that Vitale will just be watching us whenever, as he already has been doing, as he was doing before the start of the story. So, providing additional entertainment, we are at Vitale's beck and call as he is at ours right now. Just taking us out and doing stuff. I have a couple CGs. Actually, we can check in on those. Let's save. Just do an early save. Why not? I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me. Pardon me. Just so we can go over the details here. Finally aged, 6'6", 198 centimeters. July 5th. Likes cute and affected things, which is why he likes the otter that we tried to give him. Flowers, small things, emotions, love, sweet food, cartoons, pink, observing, watching, being a voyeur. All the same, most of the other gods, the sinners, ? And Valentine's Day. Oh, maybe that's why. Likes cute things, but doesn't like the concept of Valentine's Day in and of itself, which might be why he hated that ride. I'm gonna read this because it's shorter. He's the best comfort during a hard time, even if he may be the cause. Will that come into play? We'll see. Being shrouded in mystery is entertainment for this god. One has to do what they can to manage such a long-lived existence. Although seemingly jestful and unserious, stepping into his shoes is no small endeavor, and he is dead serious about his work, dead serious about his beliefs. No matter what it is, he only asks that you trust him. Sneaking up in the shower but not able to get wet. Okay, and then on the... You'd think I guess he's happy because he's looking at Melrose and not looking at the ride. It would be funny if the CG was him looking around disgustedly at the decorations. Anyway, alright. Let's get back to it. Enough breaks. I didn't exactly like it. Tailing a random woman that I'd never met before wasn't part of my plans. There wasn't any room for a choice, though. Vitale seemed like the type of god whose word was final. Although he's pretty jovial about it. I understand. But you don't like it, do you? I said I understand. He chuckled at my disapproval, then slipped his hand in my hair, combing through the roots with ease. A soft smile crossed his face. The gesture felt endearing, even, but it only lasted a moment before he abruptly froze. The surrounding atmosphere shifted to something I couldn't place. His demeanor was tense, and his eyes stared off into the distance, no longer focused on me. What's wrong? Ah! In a burst of wind, Vitale was gone, leaving only a flurry of black mist behind. No feathers? Clutching my startled heart, I figured there was something that may have happened, or perhaps he forgot about something. I waited around for him, but the day passed by and he never came back. During the past 4 days, I woke up early in the morning, ate breakfast, tailed the woman as discreetly as I could, grabbed some food, and returned home to wind down and then sleep. I hadn't seen a peep of Vitale since the day he gave me this bizarre task. She's buying couple mugs. Over the past few days, I've learned that she doesn't work, lives with a family member in a townhouse, and her pastime is shopping or hanging out at the mall with her friends. She's met up with her boyfriend once out of the days that I followed her. The meeting wasn't as long as their date as at the amusement park, but she was super excited to see him. When he arrived, he brought her a large gift. Watching them makes me sick, but not entirely because of the weirdness of peeking into a couple of strangers' lives. No, it was how disgustingly lovey-dovey they were. Made me feel like a jealous third wheel to some couple I didn't even fucking care about. It's just a week. You can do this. She took a break at the food court with her many bags. Everything was fine until she looked at her phone. Gradually, her mood soured. Whatever it was made a night and day difference. Oh shit. Aw. I looked down at my phone to see Marlo calling. I wanted to talk, but I couldn't afford to take my focus off the woman for too long. The last thing I wanted was for her to slip away while I was stuck in conversation. But... Hey, what's up? Just checking on you. I'm at the shop, watching some of the renovations in the back. Really? Are you supposed to be there while they're doing that? I don't know. Esmond was coming, so I thought I might too. I'm just outside the building, though. It's so fucking cool. I wish you were here to look. I'll take a video if they let me in. Glad you're excited about it. What are you up to? Working? Something like that, yeah? I couldn't exactly explain that I was doing the equivalent of some espionage shit. Or stalking a random person. I guess it's the same. What's the difference? I guess. But it was work, in a way. I turned a bit to the woman's general direction to see her having a rather heated conversation on the phone. Oh, what the hell happened? Huh? Just some drama going down across the way. Lady looks pissed. Steer clear. If it gets hectic, you don't want to be there when they go to blows. That's for sure. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford to do that. I had to stick around and see what she was up to. Whatever happened led her to cry and call another person. She called at least 2 more people after that before someone showed up. Another woman. She helped her with her things. You've been awfully quiet. Hello? Oh, daydreaming. Thinking and stuff. Did I call it at a bad time? A little. Don't feel bad. I think I'm done working for the day. Curious as I was to learn what happened, I just couldn't shake the odd feeling in me as I watched her and the woman I assumed to be her friend walking away. It brought back a memory of Marlo picking you up. Don't fight him, May. Fight him? I'll tear him apart. Please, just drop it. Oh, is this the guy she was dating when Mellors met their first boyfriend? Is it that story? I have to sigh. Despite the memory being long gone, the feeling of anger came back to my mind so clearly. I'd had my fair share of drama, but remembering how livid I was over Marlowe's situation back then, this kind of reminded me of that. Of course, I didn't have much detail to go off of. The woman could have just been upset about anything. But she'd left the couple mugs there on the bench. What happened? I had only a day left to observe her. Besides the angry call the other day, nothing was out of the ordinary. At least to me. She still went about the last 2 days normally. To make up for prematurely cutting off my observation on the 4th day, I've been aiming to watch her longer, but here we are at the park and nothing has come of it. I sighed and thought about Vitale again. I still hadn't seen him at all. He said he was always watching. Perhaps he was doing the same as I was, though I had to admit it was less interesting without him. Just me alone, sitting with my thoughts, and a lot of it was stuff I didn't care to think about. Meow. From my spot in the grass, I felt a little nudge against my back, and a white cat quickly slipped into my lap. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey! It made a comfortable spot on my sketch pad, affectionately rubbing itself all over my stomach. I didn't think cats were this friendly. You didn't? Stray cats are definitely that friendly, although, actually, this cat has the same necklace that you have, Melrose. What's going on? It took over my lap entirely. Any hope of continuing to sketch was lost. Not that I had been doodling anything important. No real designs were on the page, just some chicken scratch. Hesitantly, I brushed my fingers across its fur and then began to rub it. You're so clean. You're not a stray, are you? It looks like you have a collar. The collar looked exactly identical to my choker. Black with a heart dangling from it. Ah. It was the cat that spooked me the night I met Vitale. For whatever reason, it found me. I looked around, wondering if I could catch its owner somewhere in the park, but Vitale was nowhere to be seen. Well, at least you're with me. Meow. Drawing my attention back to the woman, she had been joined by some guy I'd never seen before. From the looks of it, he was someone that she knew, given that they hugged. The conversation appeared to be serious, and the guy comforted her. That's how it went for a moment, until he suddenly brought her face to his and kissed her. What the hell? I chuffed, trying to be unassuming about the guy, but wow. An affair? The woman pushed him away. Oh, maybe not. I told you not to do that. If we're gonna stay friends, you have to respect that. But he's not treating you right. He's full of apologies, isn't he? The other day, you even thought about breaking up with him. I think I'm doing the same voice for this guy as I did for the actual boyfriend, and you know what? That's fine. That's perfectly valid. The other day, you even thought about breaking up with him because he said he'd miss your birthday party. Yes, but I'm just frustrated, okay? That doesn't mean you can weasel your way back into a relationship with me every time I'm the slightest bit upset with him. Slightest bit? You were thinking of breaking up. Thinking isn't the same as going through with it. I'm just mad. That doesn't mean I don't love him. It just gets hard with his job. That's why I'm upset. At least I have time for you. You can have me, but you're choosing him? It was shocking to hear the unwinding of a story I had zero knowledge of existing. Nothing appeared to be out of sorts for me in the last few days, but I noticed she was mostly alone. Excluding her outings with friends, I only saw her boyfriend once in my time watching her. They looked so fucking happy, though. I suppose that's what she means by it's complicated. She was so right. I shouldn't have told you anything at all. I shouldn't have come to talk to you. You told me what happened, and I tried to be supportive. Look. I'm sorry for kissing you. It was out of the line since we're no longer together, but really, is he really worth the stress more than me? You don't understand. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm leaving. Lacey, no! Let's talk about it. I'll be open-minded. My body tensed the moment he grabbed her arm. There was so much running through my mind at once, but I wasn't sure of what I could do. Or should do. It really wasn't any of my business. I shouldn't even fucking be here. Let go! Please. I promise not to bad talk him or anything. I promise. No! I was torn. Should I step in or stay out of it? There were other people here. Just because I was watching her directly didn't mean I had to stick my nose into it. But that also didn't mean I didn't have to either. Oh? Okay, so it has nothing to do with anything. Or maybe it does. Maybe this is just the first one. What are we doing? If I waited any longer, things might have gotten ugly. So I scrambled over to the two and caught the guy's arm. With little effort, I pried him off of her. Thank you so much. She thanked me and used the opportunity to hightail it out of there as fast as she could. Let me go! Get off of me! Lacey! He continued to scream and squirm as I held him in place. The risk of him chasing after her was still high. Once she was long gone, I let the man go. But it didn't come without a price. Asshole. Mind your damn business next time. I should have expected this much. Not the first time my interferences garnered a fist in my jaw. There was no way in hell I was just going to let him go and do that and get away with it either. I tailed my hand into his shirt and yanked him down into my fist. Yanked him down into my... So you just... figuring out the logistics. Hand in his shirt. I just held my fist so you just like pull his face down into your fist. Imagine. It's kind of wild, but... It's a wild technique, but I imagine it works. I imagine it's probably effective. Ow, what the fuck? Don't hit someone and expect to go free afterward. When someone tells you no, fucking listen next time. I'll remember this, he uttered, then took off in a direction opposite of the lady. Helping felt more like a hassle than it should have been. Hopefully you're cloaked to look like someone else, using the magical, unremovable necklace. At least she escaped. Something about his temper left me uneasy. Watching a creep definitely wasn't part of the assignment. God. It'd be best to return home after that. I'm glad I took a break. I feel better. I feel like I'm doing better. Anyway, oddly enough, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I mean, you probably are. At all times, which shouldn't have come as a surprise with the knowledge of Vitale being an observer. Yet, it didn't bother me when he revealed that. Dare I say, it kind of felt similar to learning a guardian angel was watching over me. Alright, Bella. This feeling was not that. This feeling was not that. Someone else was watching? This was disturbing. Am I? So someone else is watching you. Who? The last day of observing the woman went off without a hitch. That guy didn't show up to bother her at all, so I figured the two squashed it while I was away, or he gave up after my interference. Apparently I picked the right choice. I was hoping I'd pick the wrong one. Let's go see what the wrong choice does. Oh, hold on. First... right. Oh, she gets hurt because we don't get involved. Vitale told me to take a step into his line of work. Whatever that was, I don't think he'd get involved with this. I see. He said to observe. Didn't sit right with me, but I stayed put and uncomfortably watched them struggle until the woman, Lacey, struck him with her purse. It probably felt like a brick or something to him because he sprawled out on the ground afterwards, using the opportunity. And using the opportunity, she ran away. Don't you dare follow me! The man climbed to his feet eventually and stumbled off somewhere himself. He didn't follow the direction she'd taken. Possibly going about his own business. I hoped. Part of me thought of going to look for her to see if she was okay, but I tempered my emotions the best I could. I didn't step in when they were struggling, and I shouldn't step in now. Guess it's time to go home. Now wait a minute. Okay, so we do get in trouble for not stepping in. I finished observing the woman for the week. The last day of watching was just as uneventful as any other. Maybe after their argument the guy backed off. Or they patched things up when I couldn't see. Regardless, I was happy to have my life back. My time. Or my time. But I had far more questions than answers. Why did Vitale make me observe her? What was I supposed to get out of it? He still hadn't come back since he left me to do this. I knew that he'd have to return at some point, but the impatience grew with each day of wondering when that would be. His cat found a home in my apartment. Ooh. Hi. Amazing outfits. The initial outfit, the base outfit of this, is courtesy of Hoshi Arts, who also made the Valentine's outfit and the Christmas outfit, if you remember those. And then I just recolored the meshes. So they're like a bunch of mesh recolors, and it's got so many different like features and things on it, that you really can almost do anything you want with it. So, yeah. Hoshi Art. If you're a VTuber, looking for, girly bodies, Hoshi Art's got you covered. Really nice stuff. But also, for the summer, made a summertime background. There's like a pool background and a beach background. I'm not using those. I got these from someplace else, but for general use for anyone of any presentation, those are great. And fun as well. But yeah, it's just a mesh recolor and a really nice outfit with great physics. It's kind of fun. Yeah. How are you doing, by the way? Let me hydrate. Let me get my water. Around here. Oops. I have an energy drink as well, but I feel like I've had too much energy drink. I was out earlier in the day working, and I had soda, caffeinated soda, and then I had an energy drink as well. I felt like it wasn't enough, and then when I came back, I had to like lay down. My heart was beating really fast, so I'm leaving it there. I'm probably not gonna have any more because otherwise I won't sleep at all tonight. But it's nice for the tang, for the citrusy sharpness of the flavor. Anyway, job interview. Well, yes. So amazing. Thank you. Okay. Good luck on your job interview. Hope you feel prepared. I hope this stream enriches or helps you calm down or something to be ready for it. I don't know what I can do to help, but hopefully it's a positive experience. But I do wish you luck on your job interview for sure. Yeah. I hope you knock it out of the park. For sure. Of course. The landlady seemed to be very fond of me, adopting a cat, although she never said it out loud. She found brief opportunities to come over and see it. I didn't hate the idea of taking it in, though. Apparently the cat was a cuddler and made me into her personal pillow. Alright, so the cat is probably not Eros? I don't know why I thought it was to begin with, but... because Eros has white hair. I don't know. I never truly understood the appeal of snuggling a pet until realizing she made sleeping feel less lonely. Cats are really good for that. Clink. The cat's keychain caused me to stir awake, staring at my ceiling and the light cast from the signs outside. Then something next to me rustled that wasn't a tiny cat. A person. What is going on? Vitale. Just showing up in bed next to you. Well, yes. She usually comes back home at night. Perhaps she's taken a liking to you. Huh? He lay next to me, caressing the cat. Amazing that he could even fit in this cramped bed. His legs nearly hung off the far end. This person is 6 foot 6 tall. 6 feet 6 inches tall. That's actually very funny. Up close, he had an earthy smell, with a hint of wild roses. Hard to ignore in the city. It wasn't a common scent. Actually might smell kind of nice. Like as a perfume. You should go back to sleep. Where have you been? I questioned him before I could even register it. He's a god. He doesn't have to tell me or anyone where he's been. And yet I had the nerve to ask. Places. Doing things. If you're worried about whether I had my eye on you, do not be alarmed. At least one eye was looking in your direction. He smirked as if telling a joke, but I got the feeling that he was being literal. Or maybe through some other supernatural means. That's a scary thought to put in my imagination. Want a demonstration? He leaned closer and I averted my eyes, rubbing the sleep from them. No. But I want to know why I had to follow that woman around for a week. Alright, so this might be... I don't know which of these is actually the right path. I think this might be, since we got to see him basically immediately. Alright, let's load the bad ending and see what happens here. Maybe because we got involved, that guy's gonna come find us. The last day of observing the woman went off without a hitch. That guy didn't show up to bother her at all, so I figured the two squashed it while I was away. Or he gave up after my interference. Still, the discomfort wouldn't leave. For the next week or so, I hadn't seen or heard from Vitale, but the sense of being watched remained. Caution had me heavily sensitive about my surroundings, leaving no window to be completely alone and vulnerable unless I was home. Unfortunately, I had no control over the fact that this parking lot had fewer cars at this time, and there weren't many people close by either. At this rate, I might lose my fucking mind. The interesting thing, though, is that technically you can call for Vitale at any time. Like, if you're worried about him not coming to see you, you can call him. He said he'd come if you call. Hello? As I unlocked my door, I saw someone in my peripheral and whipped my head around to find the woman from before. Hey, you're that guy from the park a week ago, right? Sorry, I just saw you and thought you were familiar. The hair, I mean. Oh, yeah, that's me. I just wanted to say thank you again. No need. Glad to see you're okay. Yeah, I didn't think I'd see you again, but just in case, I got you this. She pulled out a little gift. What is going on? She pulled out a little gift card from her wallet and handed it to me. Something to use at Higgy's grocery store. How thoughtful. I took it with a small nod, feeling slightly awkward about talking to her in person. I hadn't seen her at all since I'd last observed her, but she seemed to be just fine, as she was then. It was a relief. Still weird, though. Thanks. You take care. You too. This guy. I knew that you were no good! Oh my god. Okay, well this is clearly the bad ending. just not a person. There's no person. It's just a gun. The guy actually was a gun the whole time. The voice rang out, catching both of our attention. It was her ex-boyfriend, armed with a gun. You have a secret relationship with him, don't you? What? He was watching you the day after he attacked me. Then you two meet up here? What are you talking about? Man, you got the wrong idea. Calm down. Damn it. The unpleasant feeling that I felt was him. He'd started stalking me after that, huh? But to come to this conclusion after a week of stalking me had to be absurd. Surely he was missing some screws if this small encounter made him think that we had some secret fling. Shut up! You! Everyone is so bent on keeping us from being together, Lacey! Can't you see that? Matt, please, just put that away. Answer me! I'm sorry. He fidgeted nervously, looking left then right, perhaps trying to see if anyone was near to cause any outside interference. The woman and I were practically defenseless against him, but I couldn't let the situation persist. I had to try something. The next time he looked away, I lunged forward and grabbed his wrist. Struggling and slamming against my car, we fought over his gun. The woman pulled out her phone and immediately began calling the police. That made him even more frantic. Let go! No! I couldn't let him go. I didn't know what he'd do to her, himself, or me. I doubt that he simply intended to run, even if the cops were on the way. The best thing to do was to keep him detained until they arrived. At least, that's what I was trying to do. The situation felt a lot more lethal with his squirming so much and losing my grip on him. Move! Successfully shoving me, the guy turned the gun on her, and without so much as a thought, I threw my body in front, taking the bullet to my chest. I heard the woman scream shortly after, followed by the frantic pleading of her ex-boyfriend. Body convulsing against the concrete, I lay staring at the sky. Finally, I saw Vitale. His expression appeared rather dead inside, neither happy nor sad. Why didn't you come for me? You became a part of their story. I told you to... I lost the rest of his words, my mind numbing as he descended upon my body. What a stupid way to go. None of this had anything to do with me. I could only hope that the lady survived in my place. Oh my goodness. No, I don't need to save my progress here, actually. Jesus Christ. Well, that answered that question. Anyway. I was curious because the other two routes had a secondary love interest. And I was talking about how those secondary love interests, like almost like a B plot, sort of paralleled the engagement that you have with the primary love interest. It seems like this one is not going to be like that. Which there is a third character that you haven't seen yet, a third like actual NPC, like non-love interest, non-MC character, that I guess we'll be introduced to, but that's not going to be a B plot person, I guess. Maybe some sort of other companion or friend or colleague of Vitale's, I guess. They look like they had like a scythe, so maybe they were the god of death. Maybe we're going to meet up with the god of death. Exciting. Anyway. No, but I want to know why I had to follow that woman around for a week. Time will tell. No need to rush for the answer. You did well, of course. I suppose you deserve a reward of some kind for the trouble. The back of Vitale's hand brushed against my cheek and pushed my hair behind my ear. With his face drawing closer to mine, my body grew hotter, anticipating that he'd kiss me. But his face hovered near my ear instead. Have you thought about the wish you want to be granted yet? He retracted to peer into my face, and then snorted when he read my expression. Red as your hair. What were you expecting in that head of yours? I haven't. My mind has been on other things. Yes, it certainly has. I dodged the comment, hoping to avoid his teasing. I need to think about it. If I can. Meow. The cat had been between us, so Vitale hovering over me meant hovering over her. She squeezed herself from beneath him, nuzzling his cheek, to which he carefully scratched her beneath the chin and kissed the side of her face. Mwah. I'm sorry. She made her way down the bed and hopped off, wandering through the crack in my doorway. Is it okay for her to go like that? She'll be fine. The collar on her is not just for decoration. Now, what is this about needing to think about it? Surely you have things you strive to accomplish in your life. His attentive gaze, left the words caught in my mouth. Something I strived to accomplish. I don't think I've had any solid goals in life since we successfully moved out of the harsher part of Casimir City. And that was so many years ago. Seeing myself now, I just went along with the flow of life and tagged along with whatever those around me wanted. If Marlowe had dreams of going somewhere, I'd want to go too. I couldn't go this time. Not because she wouldn't allow me, but because I just didn't want to. Haven't thought too much about that. Then, is there something else that you want? Something I wanted? My mind went blank. Never in my life had I been able to have anything I wanted at the whim of another person. Having a god ask me such an open-ended question left me unable to find an answer. But what I knew, what I felt, was the awareness of just how close he was to me. Mesmerized by Vitale's face, lit by the light reflected from the other building. Despite the uncanny, tired bags under his eyes, the glow in them was almost impossible to look away from. Ah, Rosie. Has a particular thing crossed your mind? Perhaps my reward should be something like that. He teased again, and the embarrassment rushed back into my face. With a sigh, I tried to turn my back to him, but he abruptly flipped me around. Oh. Nice. I managed to gasp before his lips pressed against mine, an unexpected surge coursing through my body when he did. Hand gripping tightly on my shirt, Vitale held me there, locked to his lips. The deeper the kiss, the more overwhelming the energy passed through my body. With his body flush against mine, I sought closer contact, daring to slip my arms over his shoulder. Vitale didn't pull away. Instead, he held me tighter. The tongue that aimed to steal my breath, the firm tangle of a hand in my hair, while the other gripped my waist, the leg that teased its way between my thighs. It was unexpected. A little intense. Too much. I moaned, startled by the new wash of something more festering inside of me. Every inch of my skin tingled against his touch, sending shivers up and down my spine. Trembling out of my control, Vitale's hold on me remained secure, with no sign of letting go just yet. It was him. He was the source of this overwhelming feeling. The dangerous feeling bloomed from the vigorous motion of his leg, slipping effortlessly against me. Squirming didn't help as his other hand returned to guide my hips along it. My mind fogged in white, my vision blurring with tears. Tiny tingling sparks popped off the back of my brain, sprinting along my spinal cord. My labored breaths joined the shuffling of sheets and the faint creak of the mattress. I felt my energy fading, but he was so abundantly riling me up, like being fed into and siphoned from simultaneously. He didn't stop until I arched flush against him, clinging while the pressure exited my body in a bout of pleasure. Oh. He cooed, scratching a finger beneath my chin, similar to how he'd done the cat. Good boy. An excellent job you did. The smile Vitale wore was soft. No smugness or teasing when he kissed my cheek. The formerly firm hands stroked and caressed soothing circles where they once threatened to bruise. Blushing? I believe the reward I've given has overexerted you. Go on and rest now. Whether I wanted to or not, my mind had already slipped away from me, back into a cloud-like slumber. Well, all right. Normally, this is the part where one reflects on their actions, spouting things like, it wasn't their intention, or it just happened, that they'd gone too far and perhaps expressed some sort of guilt for doing such a thing. I will not. Oh, this is Vitale talking. We'll go back. Still in the bedroom, that's why I was confused. Anyway. Normally, this is the part where one reflects on their actions, spouting things like, it wasn't their intention, or it just happened, that they'd gone too far and perhaps expressed some sort of guilt for doing such a thing. I will not. My actions were purely intentional. I could have gone further with them, and there is zero guilt to be had. The act was something I wanted to try. And what better person to try it with than the human I'd taken great interest in? Being a god at least allowed me that luxury. To do as I pleased, without the unnecessary condemnation of a higher being, so long as I didn't step on any landmines that led back to Zeus. There was no barking up my tree, although some have tried. The peaceful look on Rose's face as he slept made the reward he'd received feel more like a treat for me in the end. How he could rest innocently lying next to something said to be inherently deadly for him was amusing. But surely, as there are many humans likely doing the same at this very moment, Rose was the one to captivate me. You shouldn't be alive, I say, bearing 3 different reasons that led to one conclusion. A miracle. Harm has found him repeatedly. He has positioned himself to cause harm countless times, and his existence is scorned by them. Yet, this little flower still survives in my wilted garden, vibrant red and beautiful. He's absorbed all the bad, low-quality nutrients, and any moment could be his last, be it the predation of surrounding pests, the deterioration from the ill-fitted nutrients finally self-destructing him, an unruly intruder crushing him, or that I cut him from the stem myself. My hand rested on his chest, observing the rise and fall of his breathing. Every day prior, I pondered the thought of when his heart would stop. How would it happen? But now that we are here together, it is no longer a thought of when, but an uncertain what if. What if his heart stops? Talking about the ill-fitted nutrients is so funny. Like, basically just like he's constantly getting in fights and he only eats garbage. How is he still alive? Basically. Like, that's so what an observation. Just like this little creature. What a life he does lead. I'm sorry. Good. It was entertaining. Not making fun of it. It makes me laugh because it's just entertaining. I like the concept of Vitale being like, oh, that was fun. What a strange little creature. You know, he only eats fast food burgers. All he does is fight and eat fast food burgers. I don't know how he's still alive. But, you know, I have a soft spot for him in my heart. Anyway, since the week of spying on that lady, Vitale hasn't sent me to do anything else. No other mission. Nothing. Whenever I ask, his response is, wait, which irritates me. I'd at least like to have known what I was waiting for. Unfortunately, that was part of the suspense that he wanted to keep a secret. The bright side, I guess, was that I got to see him more during the weeks of frustration. Of course, he'd come and go as he pleased. Sometimes he'd even abruptly leave without saying goodbye or excusing himself. And the next time I saw him, he'd be the same old Vitale, as if nothing had happened at all. Whenever I clearly noticed something was off about him, he refused to explain or open up about it. Everyone has their secrets, so surely he wants to keep things to himself. But it fucking bothered me that he knew so much about me while not sharing anything with me at all. You destroyed the art of the latte at least a minute ago. How much do you intend to stir it? I do what I want. Oh? What an odd standoffish response to my simple question. Rosie is upset about something. How long do I have to keep waiting? Being a bad boy is asking me the same question repeatedly, expecting a different answer, and you will be punished eventually. Isn't that what madness is? I guess it's the same thing. He answered with a lazy drawl to his voice, loudly sipping his latte. While I'm sure that he'd always make good on his threats, my mood was too sour to take it to heart. I know, but in the meantime, I'm just living out my days. Didn't you say that you wanted me to help you answer a question? I did. Then what should I do now? Wait. For how long? It's about to be 2 full weeks now. Vitale slipped a finger underneath my choker, yanking me forward. His teeth nicked my bottom lip like a cat disciplining their young. I licked the prickle of blood left behind, then fought to keep the pout from reaching my face. Not that it mattered. He nonchalantly returned to sipping his latte and ignoring my fussing. I'm not some kid, you know. Scolding and disciplining me doesn't work like that. Am I too generous to you? Or have you simply forgotten who you're talking to? He tilted his head, brows raised. I hadn't forgotten. I just felt too petty to give a damn about it. And, well, maybe he had been a little too generous to me. Or rather than generous, too personal. Since that time, it was harder to look at him with full respect for his godly status. He'd stooped down to something lowly as I, after all. I couldn't help feeling a little special. Of course. While he hadn't made any more advances of that nature toward me, he was still quite casual and surprisingly nice, beneath all the teasing, that is. I just feel comfortable. No disrespect. How interesting. Not Marlo. My phone rang amid our talk, and on the screen was Marlo's number. I hadn't heard from her in a bit, so she had likely been busy until now. I reached to answer it, but I couldn't help observing Vitale's face, the way his eyes lit up ever so slightly at the screen. It's your friend. Are you not going to answer it? Yeah, but are you okay with that? Asking me such an irrelevant question will make the call pass. Simply answer it. He'd returned to a nonchalant and unbothered demeanor, which I guess wasn't too odd for him, but the look in his eyes when he'd seen her number made me curious. Obviously, if Vitale had been watching me, then he knew very well who Marlo was. I answered the phone just before the last chime. Yeah? Oh, hey! I thought you were busy, May. I'm just calling to check in on you again. I know I've been a little MIA lately. Don't worry about it. Last time we talked, you sent pictures of the finalized renovations. Are you guys opening soon? Yep. We're planning to hold an open tattoo party to celebrate. Esmond has some cool new hires. I met them the other day. Real good people and talented folks. Oh, you could totally get one of them to tattoo over Hendy's name, if not me. Oh yeah. I forgot about that, actually. I know it's a little out of the blue, but are you gonna come to the party at least? I know I'm springing it on you at random, but I'd love to see you there. I paused, shifting my attention from my latte to look at Vitale. Are you asking him if he's gonna take you? Is Vitale gonna be your date to the party? Who stared at me while sipping what little was left of his own. His fingers lightly tapped against the table. I can't make any promises, but I'll try to make something happen if I can. If not, I promise I'll come to visit your shop someday after. At least that's better than you saying no. As Marlo began talking about the preparations for the party, Vitale's eyes continued to bore into me, and the fingers that tapped the table danced to graze mine. A long red nail passed over my index finger, resting at my knuckles. Hard to focus on her words when I couldn't help wondering what was on his mind. What did he want from me? After finishing his own latte, he took mine, despite knowing I wouldn't like that, and helped himself to it too. It was then that he finally looked away from me. Why so? Yeah, we don't want it to get too crazy, so we have a no alcohol policy. Are you that worried about it getting crazy? I guess. The last thing we need is a lawsuit on opening day. Yeah. That'd be bad. Yeah. Hey, I'll talk to you later, Mara. I have something I need to do. Oh? Okay. Don't let me hold you up. I'll call you later. When I hung up the phone, his gaze returned to me and he leaned forward. They're so toxic. This is actually, it hasn't been that toxic so far in the game, but this is the most toxic. The most toxic of all so far, which isn't even that bad. They're just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're becoming codependent, I fear. For what reason did you hang up prematurely? I wasn't paying much attention. Figured I should talk to her later when I could focus. How thoughtful. Are you sure there's nothing else I can do but wait? By the gods, you do not listen. It's just that I'm fucking bored. And I wanted to know more about him. The thing that he wanted me to help answer. He wouldn't tell me what it was. I guess he figured it was better if I answered without knowing, making this feel like some kind of social experiment. And so, you aim to make me, a god, your source of entertainment. The smirk on his face almost had my eyes rolling, but despite his teasing, I couldn't find any genuine anger at him for stringing me along these days. It was the opposite, actually. Never mind. Forget I said anything. I tire of this cafe. Come. I have a thought to go somewhere else. Vitale was up in an instant, tossing the cup into some void space. Isn't the cup empty? Why are we taking empty coffee cups home? Into some void space as he aimed for the exit. I had to scramble to follow behind him. My goodness. This is practically stealing. Carrying a bag full of stuff that Vitale snatched left me feeling like an accomplice to a heist. There were random miscellaneous things too, and no real theme or pattern. At least not to my knowledge. Are they just shoplifting right now? Going to the fair, shoplifting together? What kind of 90s romance is this? Every time we left a store, I expected the damn alarm to trip, only to sigh in relief when it didn't. And of course, we'd walk straight into another store afterward. Do you wish to foot my bill and pay for my purchases, dear Rose? Hell no, this shit is expensive. What do you even need these clothes for? They weren't even his size. If he even tried to put any of them on, he'd probably burst out of them entirely. And where does the food go when you throw it into those pocket holes? Can't you just finish it like a normal person? Or, I don't know, not waste it? It's cute that you are trying to hold me to human standards again. Haven't we been over all of this already? Yeah, we have, but that doesn't make it any less complicated for me. You're just taking stuff and using your godly powers to keep people from saying anything. Are you getting a guilty conscience when I take things I did not purchase? Honestly, I was only worried about my ass if the security guards checked the stuff for whatever reason. Considering what he was, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. If he guaranteed my protection, that is. Or if he guaranteed my protection, that is. I've narrowly escaped being in jail before, and no desire to get anywhere close to one. Personally, I have no desire to be in handcuffs, if, for whatever reason, your protection doesn't extend to me. Your head is full enough of worry for both of us. Do not fret. The collar around your neck will activate when needed. So if I get picked up and put in jail, you'll just activate the collar and take me to your house. Cool. Dope. Very slay. Just as I'm covering you for now. Vitale stepped closer, taking my hand as he teleported us back within the comforts of my bedroom. Ah! My body threatened to collapse, but his arm hooked around my back in support. I let the bags slip from my hands to the floor with a low thud and bashfully met his mirthful gaze. The location shifting thing needed more getting used to. You will get used to it. Eventually. His hand brushed over my hair in an endearing manner before he kneeled to reach inside one of the shopping bags. He retrieved a sweater before turning to face me. In times like these, with those eyes fondly gazing at me, I kept wondering what he was thinking. Why did he give me those looks? A long fingernail teased the buttons of my sweater, popping one by one before he eased it off my shoulders and let it drop to the floor. Well, I guess you could have guessed that they would be for you. Alright, I'm gonna take another quick break just to drink some water and stretch. We'll run an ad to keep pre-rolls out and get back to whatever they're doing in here, whatever's going on in here right now. Vitale's just having fun. Like, they're really not, like, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. I think Vitale's just bored. He's like, can I just like play with this human for a while? No, like, who's gonna stop me? Basically. Alright. BRB. Quick 1-minute ad. See you soon. Oh, okay, not completely certain, but it's possible that these sections might get muted. I don't think this music is copyright free, but it is good. And I think I double checked, it's most likely pre-AI, but hard to be completely sure, obviously. But I don't think AI music was at this level in early 2024, which is when this was made. I don't know because I don't really keep up with it, but I think it's probably, since it's copyrighted, probably not AI. There's a lot of people specifically saying no AI on their lo-fi playlist, which I think is beautiful and appreciate very, very much. In any case, I'm back from the break. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for sticking with it. I don't know what Vitale is up to. It's kind of stressing me out. I think it's stressing me out as much as it's stressing Melrose out, actually. And what is this music? All right. You wanted to know who the clothes were for, right? You wanted to know who the clothes were for, right? The heat rose to my cheeks, and though my mouth quivered to say something, I let him continue. The full of his hand flipped beneath my shirt and scaled up from my stomach to my chest. Wordlessly, I helped him pull it over my head and allowed it to fall by my feet as well. All the while, my heart wouldn't slow down for a second. Curious? Anxious? When his hand grazed my belt buckle, I stopped him. I needed a moment to temper my expectations. My desires crept up from within, and I'd rather not make a fool of myself in front of him. I had to have some form of control over myself. But his eye contact nearly set my skin on fire, resolute with attention. Any sign of taking his eyes off me weren't there. And I felt seen in my entirety. He was staring right at everything that I was, only at me. My breath strained as I exhaled. What are you trying to do? I worked up the courage to ask, but all I received was a soft smile from him. Vitale pulled the sweater over my head. Again, I tried to help by passing my arms through the sleeves, but when I popped my head through the collar, I felt his breath shy my lips. Then, the graze of the skin followed the closed gap. It was one kiss. Then, after a shaky breath, another one, and another, until his lips, though hesitant, moved against mine naturally. His arm circled my waist, my knees trembling as he kept me steady. A cool surge climbed up my spine, only to crash down in a wave of warmth. A moan escaped me despite my efforts to keep quiet. My hands nestled into his sleeves. The ground below disappeared as I found a new height in his arms, just enough to be at his eye level. The more we kissed, the more I seemed to forget all of my concerns, all of my worries and stress. Odd to say, quite literally felt as if they'd exited my body, like he was taking it all away. Just when I felt the restraint I'd tried to hold on to weakening, he dropped me on the floor. Ow, what the hell? Why did you... Looking up at him, I stopped any bit of complaint that I had in favor of swallowing wearily. Vitale's demeanor had shifted again. Like the other abrupt moments, he was lost in a trance. He tensed up, stiff-jawed and alert, eyes staring off into the distance again, mind far away from the moment between us, far away from me. A vein made itself noticeable in his neck and along his jaw. Not a word came from him as I watched his body fade into transparency before my eyes. He left again, right in the middle of this moment between us. He left me high and dry. I picked myself up off the hard floor, not knowing whether to feel pissed off or concerned at this point. All I knew was that the change was night and day. If I asked him, I had half a bit of doubt that he'd actually explain himself as usual. For a guy who wanted answers, he was leaving me with plenty of questions, too. What was that all about? It is concerning. I knew better than to wait around for him. Once he was gone, there was almost no chance that I'd see him again that day. He really marched to the beat of his own drum. Being someone who did as he pleased, I should understand a little, except I didn't do it this frequently. I headed out to the grocery store intent on buying just a few things, since the fridge wasn't entirely low on food yet. It had been my thought to do this earlier, but with Vitale around, everything gets derailed easily. Dishes were a menace to wash lately, because being the only one to mess them up meant being the only one to clean them. No. Well, yes. And I hated chores. So I dragged myself to the home supplies aisle to grab disposable plates and stuff. I mean, fair enough. I don't know what kind of voice to do. Excuse me? Noticing I blocked the way, so I stepped aside to let the man pass. Oh, sorry. When he passed by, I got a good look at his face. Oh, it was the ex-boyfriend of the woman I'd followed a while ago. Downcast while picking out a fancy set of glass plates and cutlery, he grabbed a set of champagne glasses in a random bowl. I tried to theorize about what those were for, but there could have been a million reasons for him to buy those things. The somber look on his face gave me the impression that something was off about him, though. Before he left the aisle, he stopped in front of a set of kitchen knives. It took him a minute to pick them up and place them in his cart, too. Funny. This routine had ended weeks ago, and yet here I was following behind him as he went to check out. God, these are gorgeous. I love it when people buy them. They're our hottest set. Are you getting them for your wife? Oh no. I'm not married. I just, wear my ring on this finger. Oh, okay. My bad. Do you just like the set, then? Yeah, it's not for me, though. My friend is having a housewarming party later today. These are for her. Scary. The assumptions in my head were firing off like fireworks. I kept having to remind myself that it could be anyone. But my mind kept fighting the doubt, choosing to believe that all of this was for his ex-girlfriend, Lacey. It had to be. The thought put a damper on my mood because I remembered those days. Even until now, I had been wallowing in something similar. Albeit, he had it worse, having gotten further than I ever could to begin with. Who were you planning to murder? Hello? Why is this relatable content? But that was just part of life. Sometimes you don't get everything you want. He was trying to weather the storm the best he could, I guess. Okay, so maybe... Okay, I thought we were implying that he was... You know what, I'm just gonna let the story tell itself. I might as well have graduated into being a stalker, rather for the sake of normalcy, a spy, because I abandoned everything to follow him. Something didn't feel right about any of this, and I felt this nagging urge to check in on Lacey. I did all that bitching, and here I am, climbing into my car to tail this guy. What's going on? I almost wondered if this truly was how Vitale handled things. Would he pick when to keep watching and when to turn a blind eye? Come to think of it, he told me to wait. This wasn't exactly waiting, but this wasn't exactly not waiting either. Would this be grounds for punishment? I don't know, Melrose. It shouldn't be. I'm just doing the same thing I was doing during the trial period. Sorry, it shouldn't be. I'm just doing the same thing I was doing during the trial period. I followed him to the edge of the suburbs, keeping my distance. A small neighborhood of pretty-looking houses presumed to be newly built. Had they been on the other side of town, they'd have bullet holes already. I watched him park among the tiny line of other cars near the small house with a tiny boxed yard and a gated fence. I could hear the music and people chattering from inside. I assumed it was a small gathering of friends and family for the housewarming party. When he rang the doorbell, the boyfriend answered, and after an awkward exchange, invited him inside. Is it a good idea to stay parked in a neighborhood that I've never been to before? Maybe. Do you think they're going to call the HOA on you? Or do you think the HOA is going to call the cops on you? I guess. No, but I'd only linger for a little while, and then peel off if anyone started a fuss. Well, I meant to stay for a short time. Eventually, I got bored as hell and closed my eyes, and that translated into falling asleep. By the time I woke up, it was dark out, and the street lamps were on. All cars were gone except the ex-boyfriend's car and what I assumed to be the car of Lacey's current boyfriend. Shit. I rubbed my eyes and checked the rearview mirror, feeling my heart nearly launch out of my chest. Vitale was in the back seat staring directly at me with an expression void of emotion. God, if you're going to appear at random, can you please give me a sign? I am trying to recall when I told you to come observe the pair again. Why are you here, Rose? I saw the ex-boyfriend at the store and thought I'd check in because I was bored. Nothing's happened, so we can just go back home. I began to say, only to hear muffled yelling and some commotion exiting an open window of Lacey's home. Stop! You want me to leave? Then do something about it! Get the hell out of my house! I looked at Vitale, whose eyes stared at the house, unblinking. An uneasy aura festered in the car, and I nervously watched the cracked window of the house. I strained my ear to hear as much as I could from the quiet road, but when I heard a blood-curdling scream, that was when my body launched for the car door. Rose. Something's going down! All but throwing myself out of the car, I bolted for the fence and climbed over it, running for the open window. Sheesh. I faced a harrowing sight I couldn't fully digest as the commotion continued unfolding before my eyes. Lacey and her ex-boyfriend were fighting, or rather, she was trying to get away from him. He'd forced her against the kitchen wall, and at the moment, she'd locked eyes with mine. Her ex-boyfriend stabbed her in the abdomen. Climbing into the window, I rushed forward, tugging him by the shoulder and swung my fist into his face. Thank God Melrose can fight. Jesus. He spilled onto the floor, dropping the knife, and I turned to Lacey, who was writhing in pain. Hey, are you okay? Watch your back. With no time to register her warning, the guy's arms wrapped around my neck, pulling me into a chokehold. I reached my hands up, aiming to dig my nails into his face. Something landed because he screamed and shoved me to the ground. Fuck you! I swiped his leg with my foot, causing him to slip on the bloody floor and fall. Lacey's boyfriend lay there unresponsive with several wounds to his back. If I didn't hurry to restrain this guy, there would be no window to call for help. I used my weight to pin him down, but his elbow bashed against my stomach to knock me off. Reflexively, I held the spot he'd struck, but shook off the pain, throwing myself at him again. Grabbing a fistful of his hair, I shoved his head against the floor. He batted and squirmed against me. His moves grew more determined, desperate. Then I realized he was trying to get himself closer to the knife he dropped earlier. Every attempt was for the knife, and if I relented even for a second in our scuffle, it'd be all over. Several times his fingers grazed the knife's hilt, and I smacked it across the floor. Any later, and he'd have used it on me. The only way to win was to wear him down, tire him out, but in the same way that I planned to defuse him, I felt myself losing steam. Labored in breath, I wrestled to keep him on the ground. My patience thinned. If I could just knock him unconscious, that could solve everything. Ugh, fucking stop resisting! What are you, the fucking police? Shut up and stop! The sound of sharp heels slowly drew closer to us, and in one instant, Vitale towered over us. Let me go! Ah! Oh. And then the next, Vitale's hand shoved deep into the ex-boyfriend's chest, snatching his heart out. My throat lurched, and I clapped a hand over my mouth, focused to keep the disgust threatening to burst inside. Vitale's eyes never looked more violent than they appeared while fixating on the dead man. He muttered something under his breath, at a fast rate, trembling as he squeezed the organ. I couldn't look at him. I can. This is a beautiful CG. I'm sorry. It is nice, though. Instead, I pulled myself up and crawled over to see if Lacey was still breathing. I might pause and look at it in full. This is, like, really nice. Like, just really good art. The art's very pretty. It's covered in blood. She's still breathing. That seemed to break Vitale from whatever trance he was in, and he approached me with urgency. I will stay by her side. Call your emergency services. Without another word, I called the police and an ambulance. I just hoped that the latter would arrive faster. Compared to the pure rage he displayed for the ex-boyfriend, Vitale's expression was now filled with anguish. His firm hands pressed against her wound to stop the bleeding. Despite being a god, he appeared powerless. Helpless. We remained until all important figures arrived, and they hastily took Lacey away on a stretcher while taking her boyfriend and ex away in body bags. With Vitale's tampering, no one seemed to draw any attention to me or the bizarre state of the assailant's missing heart. They even gave me her contact info as if we were close family friends or something. As the adrenaline of the night wore off, we returned to my apartment. What the fuck? The apartment was pitch black upon entering, save for the light from the windows. A cool breeze chilled my skin, like any other cold night. I took off my shoes and jacket near the door before dragging myself toward the couch, but Vitale's hand grabbed my wrist and yanked me back into his arms. You no longer have to hold yourself together. It's fine to let go now. His words caressed my ears, and the tension in my chest melted as tears streamed down my face. It was the first time I'd witnessed a murder, the first time I'd seen dead bodies up close. I didn't know what to make of it. Lacey and her boyfriend were supposed to be happy. This was going to be a new chapter for them, but it just ended so tragically. It wasn't fair. Unfortunately, such was inevitable. That is why we watched. That is why we waited. What? A feeling of unease often engulfs me around certain pairs. If their love is strong, beautiful, it feels like an omen to me. So I watch them. But this is not always the case. A lone person freshly infatuated with a new lover can lead to this sinful act occurring. So, you knew all along that they were going to die? Make no mistake. I am no keeper of death. I can only act through intuition and not foresight. If he couldn't determine that, then he wasn't the god of death. Despite all aspects that felt deathly about him, I couldn't seem to pin that on him. So that posed the question. What god are you, then? Okay, a little bit of both. The god of fatal attraction. I gotta say, That does go harder than both desire or chaos. TBH. I like it. I like it. If you can have a god of rumors, we can have a god of fatal attraction. Pantheon. A third voice pierced the silence, and Vitale's gentle hold on me tightened protectively. I followed his piercing gaze to the source opposite us, spotting a tall, bulky man dressed in black, with spider silk hair, and holding an upside-down torch. An upside-down torch? What does that look like? A deep scowl emerged into the window's light as he closed the distance, and Vitale's hold on me didn't falter in the slightest. Believe no such words. It is just an upside-down torch. I couldn't tell from the brief time that we saw him. I thought maybe this was a scythe. It's apparently an upside-down torch. I do wonder, canonically, where this comes from. You cannot overwrite what's been given to you. You wear your fiendish birthright, as I wear mine. Who are you? Thanatos, god of death. Death himself. It didn't come as much of a surprise. He certainly looked imposing enough for it, but why was he here so suddenly? What business do you have here? Your meddling has gone on for long enough. This is far from the first time I've confronted you on the matter. His ghastly eyes lowered to me with a crooked, raised brow. Water break. Now that you've gone as far as adding a human, I've come to settle it. There's nothing to settle. Does that brain of yours work? Has it finally rotted among the corpses that you witness daily? I am doing my job. No, bringer of fatal attraction, you are meddling in mine. Not only have people died today who shouldn't have, but this incident resulted in a change of a woman's fate. Wait, do you mean Lacey? She still breathes, because you meddled. She, who is fated to die, did not. I was relieved that the hospital saved her. She didn't deserve such a terrifying death. But with that, I figured Thanatos wasn't too happy about the flow of his work being disturbed. They didn't deserve such a disgusting, vile death. It spits upon love, and I won't allow the falsities to go unpunished. A god's job is to embrace his concept. I carry myself as I must. Such should be written in fate. If I am the god that governs it, then my omens and punishments should be within your records. And they are not. Every death incurred by your wrath is not a cause of fate, but your meaningless rebellion against what you are. Thanatos walked closer, and Vitale maneuvered me behind his back, gripping my arm as if it were a lifeline. At a loss for words, I failed to understand their back and forth. But if it was as Thanatos said, then Vitale was the god of fatal attraction. Usually, gods take pride in the concepts they govern. Vitale seemed as if he was ashamed of it. I am passing judgment fit for those who are sinning. If you cannot understand that, then that is your failure. No matter. This is the end of my leniency. You will cease your insubordination or force my hand. The choice is yours. I am of the same authority as you. Your threat falls on deaf ears compared to one made by Zeus. Our discussion ends here. And so it does. Thanatos' chalk-colored eyes landed on me, an ominous edge passing through his eye contact. I averted my gaze and clutched Vitale's sleeve unconsciously. Talking is but a waste of time. From here on, there will only be consequences. In a blink, Thanatos was gone. The space he filled was clear, empty. The still silence within the room resumed, and the tense atmosphere subsided. As if sensing my unrest, Vitale turned to face me, his expression filled with complicated emotions, clearly upset, but maintaining a gentle gaze. His grip softened, thumb caressing the spot where it had bruised me. Look stressed out. Do not worry yourself over my trivial matters. I will handle them. Vitale pressed his lips to the crown of my head, then took my face into the palm of his hands. I started questioning once again what was the meaning behind those eyes of his. Why did he treat a mere human like me as some kind of delicacy? The day has gone on far too long. The day has gone on far too long. Let us get you cleaned up and into bed. He aimed to lead me into my bedroom, but I didn't budge, drawing his attention. If you do not sleep, fatigue will claim you. He said you were the god of fatal... Not another second will be wasted on irrelevant conversation. I studied his face for any sign of relent, but he was firm. Safe to say that the topic was a sore one. Regardless, I wanted to talk about it. The god of fatal attraction. One who scorns his very own concept of being. As dangerous as it was. Having survived my encounter with such a concept, it was odd to meet the very god who caused these things to happen. And despite his mirth and mischief, Vitale did not take pride in it at all. Acting outside of his purpose. It was all too strange. I mean, I guess from what we know about Melrose's love-based issues, it would make sense that Vitale's drawn to him, because as someone whose soulmate could be anyone and has hypothetically infinite partners, he's extremely susceptible to fatal attraction issues. Fatal attraction in relationships. That makes sense. So I am assuming the when versus what if is because of this. Vitale assumed at some point he would die from a fatal attraction based encounter, but if he keeps him under his protection, the what if is his heart may never stop beating. He may never be killed by anyone else because he's going to be protected. Is that where we're going with this? If so, cute. Slay. Fun. Exciting. Thanatos ruined everything. No. There was no saving it at all. From Rose's curiosity overtaking him to the very moment that any utterance of my title spewed from Thanatos, my plans were shot once he observed them without permission. Perhaps I could have mitigated it with the mere mystery behind my acts of judgment alone, but now Rose is aware, and I can see that wavering of trust within his eyes more clearly. Feel the fear and unease for what kind of god I am said to be, rather than merely being one. I wanted to test his mind and see the conclusion that he'd draw on his own, undisturbed, untainted by the thoughts of others. Would he see the version of me I have always hoped to see? My purpose is to weed out those that fall into the throes of false love. Vile creatures that dare to delude themselves into believing they are right in how they love. No couple should have their lives ended by someone else's selfish greed. No partner should fear death at the hands of someone who claims to love them. These are disgraceful sins against the act of loving someone. This delusion is not the form of love I vow to protect. Rose. A human such as himself bears a rawness that mirrors the patterns of these sinners. But he is different. His love is genuine and derives from a place of pain, not to be mistaken for those that I punish. He has always drawn a peculiar feeling from me that reaffirms this belief. No matter how emotionally driven he becomes, Rose is one of many mortals who cause this reaction. If I am now to be feared and shunned by him, then all is for nothing. All this time, and everything has been ruined. Oh. Have a little faith. You are a god after all, come on. The bell rang and I couldn't wait to get the hell out of class. Fridays were always like that. Never liked it when the teacher tried to hold me over time either. Being trapped in the classroom was only for the hour and 30 minutes that it was being held. Any longer than that and I would have been tossing my body out the second floor window. Remember, your project is due next week on... Yeah, bye. When he opened the door, I was the first one out and not looking back. He hated that so much. Okay, so maybe the reason why he has that same stupid bowl cut when you do the Icardi route is because Icardi's love mirrors a young love. A love of his younger days. It's like a puppy love kind of thing. That's why his hair looks the way it looked when he was younger. We don't know what he looked like when he was younger, except for that one instance with his parents, where his hair is super long. But that could be why. Makes sense. They are very young love. They're that run. Anyway, sometimes he even tried to bear hug me so the other kids who weren't as eager to leave could go first. I missed the bus that way once. It was almost spring break, so I couldn't wait to find Marlo and think up some stuff to do. Hanging around the orphanage every day until curfew would be boring. I ran to the usual spot that we'd sit at to wait for the bus, but she wasn't there. Usually she made it first, even if her dumb boyfriend was hovering around her. Okay, so this is the day that you had to beat the shit out of her boyfriend? Presumably? Deciding to wait for her, I pulled out my MP3 to listen to some tunes in the meantime. If she were late, it might have been the fault of a teacher or administrator. Unlike me, who only did enough but never too much for my grades, Marlo tried a little harder with her education. She wasn't some overachieving Einstein, but she was serious about the subjects she loved. Things were even more crucial now that we were seniors, just 1 foot out the door of our orphanage. We'd been working to scrape money together, thinking of moving across town to the better side if we could, but I wasn't so sure that it was happening anymore, not with her dating Tegan. She's taking so long. The buses are gonna pull off. Well, actually, I guess his hair is shorter than this in the Icardi route, but it's similar. This is, I guess, a bit more grown in than what that cut is. Where the hell is she? I stood up and looked around to see if she'd come, but I saw Tegan and his friends walking off campus together. She wasn't with him. Where is she? I didn't want to ask him, so I walked back into the building to search for her. I went everywhere she could have been, asking all of her teachers, but came up with nothing. Anxiety welled in the palms of my sweaty hands. I hadn't broken my phone by accident months ago. I could have called her. I rushed back outside, and by that time, all the buses were gone. But at our spot was Marlo, sitting with her hood on. We missed the bus, you know. I mean, clearly you see that, but I thought I'd have to tell you that. I thought I'd have to tell you that, too. I approached her with the intent of giving her some more flack. However, the closer I got, the more I heard her sniffling. Hey, what's going on? Hugging her from behind, I peered in to see her face, figuring something happened in class, or maybe a teacher said something to her. It didn't cross my mind that it could be worse. What the hell? Mara, what happened? Makeup ruined, tears stained Marlo's face, and her left cheek was bruised and swollen. Mar! What happened, Marlo? Tell me right now. Was it fucking Tegan? Don't. So it was him. Okay. May, no. No, just leave it alone. Marlo's desperate grip on my wrist hardly stopped me from storming off campus, but I humored her. We both know that's not happening. He hit you. I told his ass not to do anything crazy or he'll see crazy for real. I know, but you can't fight him. I'm not scared of his friends, Marlo. Marlo cried more, clinging to my arm as tightly as she possibly could. I knew why she didn't want me to fight him, but I couldn't care less. All I could think about was the fact that he'd put his hands on her. It's absolutely unforgivable. It didn't matter what reason he had. I was gonna fuck him up. He knows some scary-ass people. I should have just given them... Sorry. I should have just given him the money when he asked for it. Money? What money? Not the money you've been saving. Say it's not. Marlo. I can earn it back. Why am I standing here absorbing this as if it excuses him hitting you? As if that's going to stop me. Please. Don't fight him, May. Fight him? I'll tear him apart. Marlo tugged my wrist weakly, barely keeping her sobs at bay. Her tears often woke me up, but right now, all I could feel was rage and pain. Please. Just drop it. I'm not dropping shit. This is not okay. You're not about to tell me that it is either. I'm gonna kill him. She couldn't stop me. I only desired to punish him. All the worrying and concern for the future fell on deaf ears, left for her to worry about alone. Tegan was much taller than I was, and so were all of his friends. They were a dangerous bunch, trying to be recruited into some gang, if I remember correctly. Good enough reason for Marlo to be fearful, but I could see through him. There were worse folks to fear in Quasimir. A baby chasing the coattails of stronger men to boost his ego didn't deserve my fear. The day I caught him raising his voice at her, I told him not to touch her the wrong way or else. He's the one who should be afraid. Vitale was there? Whenever an act of sin has occurred within my vicinity, a stabbing sensation plagues my chest. This city overflows with them, almost too regularly. Whether I actively seek them out or sit still, they never cease. As if the humans here know not how to love properly. Then, I suppose in the dwellings of troubled humans, malice is a common brew. I just avenged the loss of a star-crossed pair taken too soon, and now I swept the streets in search of other potentials. I did not wish for more innocents to be slain, but if I happened across another vile excuse of a human, no mercy would be given. Not that I ever had. The most inconspicuous locations were often hotspots, somewhere that other eyes of fellow humans could not see or judge. The place of interest I took for now was a trash heap. Old forgotten cars, machinery, clothes, and other things. Disposables. Junk. It had been quiet for a while, save for the sound of young souls chattering and laughing some distance away. The sky had tilted toward the edge of the evening, and soon it would be dark. There was no sign of the sin being committed here, but I lingered for a brief while longer. Then he showed up. Tegan? Mate, please! So Melrose stormed off, and Marlo followed him all the way here to try to stop him from beating her boyfriend's ass. Which, you know what? Hey, T. Isn't that your girlfriend? Oh, it's that short stick she's always with. Better be careful, Tegan. The vibrant red hair caught my attention. Followed by the aura he exuded. Not the aura he exuded. The ache that prickled my senses mismatched the unbridled rage that he carried in his stride. This feeling brought a pang to my chest that I couldn't explain. A sorrow that squeezed out a single tear. Alright, Devilman Crybaby. Occurrences such as this one were a rarity. Its connection remained unknown to me. Similar to how disgraceful misdeeds against loving couples spur madness, singular everyday individuals greeted me with glum emotions. But why was I feeling it now? The young man appeared far from hurt. Instead, he bore the eyes of a murderer. I'm not scared of him. Little man is just here to keep his word since he called himself threatening me a while ago. What are you doing here? Are you... What? Small town, small world. Alright, anyway. I don't remember what voice I did for Rohan. It was like, oh really? Something stupid like that. The young lady at his side, tried desperately to cling to the boy, but to no avail. He was out of her grasp one moment and launching at the other boy the next. Oh shit! Are you filming this for WorldStar? What are you doing here? Oh. Okay. Let me just recap in my own mind. During Dr. Love's route, we talked about two relationships. We talked about Hendy and Asher. We talked about the first relationship that they'd ever gotten into, or that he'd ever gotten into, with someone that had money and helped them out after Marlo's boyfriend stole the money they were supposed to use to move across town. And they were friends, but he wanted something more, but he was like violent and had a bunch of like into a bunch of bad stuff. So I'm assuming that's Rohan, but when we talked about Rohan before, they are the same age. So I guess Rohan is just like one of like those rich kids that like get away with doing a bunch of bad stuff because they just have a lot of money. And in this case, he happens to be here in the junkyard watching them fight and filming them for WorldStar, and that's how they met. I guess. I mean, no shade. It does connect everything in, nicely into a nice little circle. But it's funny that he's here right now. I guess it's like what's that guy's name? I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm something of a Spider-Man fan myself. Green Goblin's son and Spider-Man. Let's say if the AU where they end up dating, it's like that, basically. If they ended up dating and MJ was just a friend, MJ is Marlo, This is James Franco's character. And Melrose is Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Sorry. Anyway. Remembering the voice I did for Rohan. Give me a second. I think it was some like gravelly voice like that. Redhead's got a fist on him. Act the shit out of Tegan. Reminiscent of a tiny wild animal, the young... Oh, sorry. Now we're Vitale again. Alright, we need Rohan, Vitale, Tegan, his boys, Marlowe. I think I'm just gonna do the boys as like high-pitched henchman voices, so that way they can both be more or less the same and won't have to worry about doing anything with it. Tegan, I guess like the closest approximation of like a standard 90s bully voice, like a Biff Tannen type beat. Rohan we just did, and Vitale, we know Vitale. That's where we're going with this. That's where it's gonna be. Alright. Reminiscent of a tiny wild animal, the young man left the other in a defensive squabble. The cheers and cries of the surrounding youths made the whole thing like a festive attraction. A fight that gradually worsened as it continued. Don't let him knock you around, T. Yeah, fuck him up. Hard to say this was an equal exchange of blows. For every hit or bruise that stuck, the shorter male continued to deliver his own blows viciously. Each strike drew blood from his foe. Off to the side, the young lady, crying out in terror and unable to figure out what to do with herself amongst the fray of an entertained audience. By observation, she was the girlfriend of the taller boy, and the short one was her friend. If that were true, if he kills him, I should be angry at the sight of it. Oddly enough, I was calm, as if the fight before me showed no signs of becoming fatal. Uncertainty, desperation, despair. Feelings like these usually accompanied scenes like this one, but I merely watched. He's gonna get his ass kicked for real. Give him something, T. Take this. The uncertainty arrived. Nothing good ever comes from the addition of weapons to human conflict. If anything, it has always been the quickest escalation from my observation. Alas, a crowbar made its way into the fight. The one they regarded as Tegan seized the opportunity to arm himself in hopes of changing the tide. It amounted to nothing. His opponent tore the weapon's benefit from him, using it to arm himself with something twice as dangerous as his bare fists and feet. Back off! Get away from me! Madman. I warned you, bitch. I think he's actually gonna... This isn't funny anymore. Go do something! Me? I'm not getting hit with a crowbar. The tension had reached its peak. The end was in sight, hovering above the downed boy's face. This is the moment that I would ready myself to pass judgment. But a glance at the crying young lady and the aura still seeping from the rage-filled young man left me standing still. Melrose! No! Her voice, much louder than the former whimpering cries being swallowed by the tiny crowd, was firm. When the crowbar came down anyway, I figured it was futile. But it did not land against Tegan's skull. I did not see a spray of blood, nor did I hear a sea of horrific screams. This Melrose slammed the crowbar into the dusted gravel and turned his gaze toward the girl. If you kill him, I'll be mad at you. A pitiful attempt to temper such a deep-seated rage that would fail. I was certain. While he'd listened to her, those words were not enough for someone like him. Sorry about the water bottle. It's great that they're made of thinner plastic. It's better for the environment, but it makes a lot of noise. I'm sorry. People like him thrive only in their own desires and delusions. Like Melrose? Interesting. I'd seen it time and time again. I'll be so mad. I'll never forgive you. I'll never talk to you again. Childish and simplistic. Yet, childish and simplistic. Yet I underestimated the effort. I'm doing a lot right now. Give me some grace, please. Yet I underestimated the effect it would have on him greatly. Melrose tossed the crowbar to the ground, and a great fear replaced the rage that consumed him, rivaling it. Wet streams stained my face, and my chest clenched when I saw him. The tears simply wouldn't stop as I wiped them away. He actually is the Devilman Crybaby. This is his AU. Why is this happening? Sirens blared from two nearby vehicles, the human equivalent of overseeing justice. I believe they referred to them as the police in this day and age. Their arrival spurred chaos amongst the youths, sending them in whatever directions that helped them flee the scene. The one known as Tegan used the opportunity to retrieve the discarded crowbar and smack the diffused Melrose upside the head with the blunt side. Oh my god! Sorry. Oh my god! Mate! I'm okay. I'm okay. Ugh. Even though he spoke, he was disoriented and incapable of moving. If they remained any longer, the authorities would trouble them. Can he stand? No. His head, he's... I got him. I got him. You come this way too. Or you too. Come this way. I know an escape route. Oh boy. The young girl, another young man, and Melrose sought refuge together, leaving the scene behind. I followed until they returned to what I assumed was their home. After making sure the two snuck back into the window of their room safely, the young man took his leave, carrying a twinkle of interest in his eyes as he left. Okay. Look at you. You're all battered up. I told you not to fight him. He's worse off. I know, right? You really kicked his ass for me. But that was scary, May. I wasn't scared. I know. But I was. Scared that I was gonna lose you today. Tegan isn't a threat to me. Not talking about that. I'm talking about you. My best friend. The one who's been my strongest support in this whole damn building. My friend who's so upfront and honest with himself and everyone around him that sometimes it's tough to listen to. But even when you're talking shit and throwing hands, that's the best part of you. Your honesty. Your sincerity. How much you care. You don't know how much I appreciate that from you. You're my family through and through. But if that means you've become something that I know you're not, then that scares me, May. You aren't a wild animal. You aren't a killer. You aren't some monster. Don't let all these people force that on you. Don't act like that just because that's what they're saying you are. Okay? Don't use something as precious as defending me to accept those horrible labels for yourself. What? I get it. I'm sorry, Mar. It's okay. It's just... I'd do anything for you. I know. Melrose had spent the better half... again. Melrose had spent the better half of the conversation donning a hardened expression, but her words brought him to tears with her. And me as well. The two... Okay. The two held each other, blubbering almost incomprehensibly, a sight that further complicated the emotion swirling inside of me. This was unlike anything that I'd witnessed, and my own reactions were beyond me. Why was I shedding so many tears for this human? I felt an incredible urge to do something. Anything to appease the ache in his chest and my own. But it was not my purpose. So, like I said, usually when Melrose is like upset or something's happening, his face gets all squished up in like a hilarious way. But this is like normal crying. Everybody's sad, but the art's really pretty. Really, great work. Brings a tear to my own eyes. All right, anyway. It's nice. It's so beautiful that they love each other. Anyway. This wasn't something that I should care about. Yet I cared about it so deeply that I sought him out silently. Seeking answers. Nice sequence. I guess we were wondering how long Vitale has been watching for, so since the inciting incident of basically all of Melrose's romantic tumult, which is interesting. 1 week passed after the Lacey incident. 1 full week of doing nothing but my usual day-to-day routine. The only difference is Vitale. The somewhat elusive god was hardly ever gone for too long now. Whenever a shift in his demeanor occurred, it'd be almost an hour or two of his absence before he was back. But the big-ass elephant remained in the room regardless of time. If I tried to open up the conversation, he'd ease himself into another topic or evade me entirely. Maybe it'd be better if we didn't talk about it. Better yet, he should just stay away from me. Not that he wanted anything from me at this point. He hadn't asked a single thing of me since that day. He hasn't even spoken about Lacey. We couldn't pretend that everything was irrelevant and that things were fine, but he was trying to, and the reason was unclear to me. Was he really here out of boredom? I didn't know what to think or believe. As I jogged across the intersection, a car swerved around the corner, nearly hitting me had I been a second too late in crossing. Dumbass! You almost hit me! I scoffed and continued walking up the street until I reached the city park. I'd received a call from a woman asking if I could meet up with her and her daughter, wanting to express some gratitude. For what? Aren't you a delivery person? What are they... Oh, about Lacey. Yes. Oddly, I felt nervous going to see her, knowing full well that this meant this must be about Lacey. If they got around to asking questions, then I wasn't so sure how to answer them, but it was too late to bail after agreeing to it. Is that the young man? Yeah, that's him. Trepidation plagued my steps as I grew closer. After the sequence, I think I'm going to end the stream. We are probably about halfway through, although we haven't reached the second binary choice good end bad end yet, so we might not be halfway through yet, but this path seems to be moving a little bit differently. We did get the first like hooking up scene pretty early on, so the existing formula may not actually be present here, but I'm gonna leave it here after the sequence regardless. I guess the next POV shift, or if the next POV shift happens after the second binary choice, I'll pause it at the binary choice and we'll move from there, which could be fun. Trepidation plagued my steps as I drew closer to the two, fumbling with my pockets and unsure of what to do with my hands. I couldn't look at her the same. Because she wasn't the same. Lacey sat in a wheelchair with whom I presumed to be her mother standing beside her. It wasn't clear to me whether this change was permanent. Her eyes lacked the vibrant luster I'd seen before the attack. Fatigued bags hung under her eyelids and her face looked drained of color. Was she getting any proper sleep? Hard to imagine after the love of her life perished. It's good to see you. Sorry for contacting you out of the blue. She couldn't stop thinking about the guy that jumped into her window. I was surprised to find they'd left your contact info for us. Probably because I told them to let me know if you were okay. I never got a call, but... Well, she's here and alive, thanks to you. I am absolutely grateful. You have no idea. I could see the emotion swelling up in her mother, and I shook my head. Not to dismiss her sentiment, but I definitely couldn't handle the heartfelt praise. I just did what any other person would do if they didn't want to witness someone die. It's nothing. I mean, I heard the screams and chose to be nosy. I'm glad I helped. It's not much, but the hospital gift shop had some stuff. And I wanted to put together a little gift for you. She lifted the gift bag in her hand and extended it to me with a faint smile. Hesitantly, I accepted the bag and peeked inside. There were quite a few things wrapped in decorative paper and a card. You didn't have to. I know. But I felt like I had to thank you. I'm sure my boyfriend would have wanted to. He was all about saving lives, after all. She sniffed, glassy eyes welling with tears at the mention. I'm sorry. Don't be. You saved my life. I'm sure he's just as grateful as I am. She wiped her eyes and offered a light-hearted laugh before wincing and holding her stomach. Her mother moved to grab the handlebars of her wheelchair in an instant. Lacey, I told you not to laugh. It chases crying away, Mom. She recomposed herself and smiled more softly, this time. I offered her a wry smile of my own. We shouldn't keep you too long. Besides, it was only a short outing. She has to get back to her room. No problem. Thanks for the gift, and, stay safe on your way back. You too. Departing from Lacey, I stopped at Petal Latte and picked up some to go. The cafe was full of people, perhaps because of the ongoing Valentine's Day special. Ooh, Vitale's favorite day. That, and well, they seemed to have some new employees working, so the slow turnaround time was also having them at the helm. Sorry for the wait, Rose Boy. No problem, Jack. It's good you're getting more help here. They have a bit of a way to go before I consider them helpful. Between us, I think Sid and I were doing just fine. didn't lessen the workload? Nah, man. Adding to it. Anyway, don't hesitate to complain if something's wrong. You're saying that as if it's expected. The new guy keeps fucking up the lattes. Sid's watching him now, but there's only so much you can explain to a guy. You guys will get it eventually. I hope so. Oops. Leaving the cafe, I took my time heading back home. Vitale might be there again. Not to say he wasn't already watching me, but still. Kicking a loose can, I took a small sip and immediately spat it on the pavement. What the hell? When Jack said the noob was fucking up the drinks, I thought to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I guess I underestimated it. Or that punk is playing lawsuit roulette on purpose. Tastes like some kind of cleaner solution. How can you screw up this badly? Opting to spare my stomach, I tossed the latte in the nearest trash can. I could only hope that the sandwich and donut were up to par, or else they pretty much got free money out of me. Do you want another? I'd said I didn't want to see him, yet my heartbeat rose at the sight of him, and heat pooled into my cheeks at hearing his voice. He said nothing to that effect, extending the latte forward as an offering. Reluctantly, I took it and drank a little, graced with the familiar taste that I loved. It's the first time you're giving me a latte instead of stealing it. Had you not compared the other drink to poison, perhaps I would have. I helped to smile at his teasing, only to frown once I realized it. Turning my back to ignore him, I began walking back to Nalmond. Are you returning home? Do you want me to make the trip faster? I want to enjoy the walk. Should I carry that? He pointed a finger at the gift bag in my hand. Both of my hands held something, but it didn't bother me. I could carry them myself. No. It's so, like, the concept of Melrose walking away, like, in a bad mood. Like, scowling. Well, Vitale chases behind him like, hey, I can take you home. You want to carry your bags? You want a latte? Can we talk? Can I pull you for a chat? Like, anyway. Vitale wasn't making it easy to ignore him. His gaze weighed heavily on me, tempting me to look at him. Deciding to walk faster only resulted in Vitale matching my pace, following right beside me like some sort of escort or bodyguard. By the time we were close to the apartments, I was practically sprinting with him at my side. Rounding the corner up the set of stairs, an occasional chuckle left his lips as he realized I was trying and failing to keep my distance. I guess, you know what, though? With him being 6'6", and I think Melrose is like 5'3", he wouldn't actually have much trouble keeping up at all. Like, it's actually very funny. The mental image is hilarious. He was having fun. This was entertaining to him. It's entertaining to me too, sorry. I can't help it. I wanted to be angry, but his playful expression left my resolve feeling weak. Ah! My foot slipped. Something slippery coated the step beneath, and I fell forward. Half expecting to have my face collide with the staircase, I found myself tugged back against Vitale's chest instead. Of course he wouldn't let me fall. His arms wrapped securely around me, face teasing a smile against my neck. Making this face. You need to be more careful on those stairs, Rosie. Sorry. Water. You need to be more careful on those stairs, Rosie. It appears to me that they don't utilize signs properly. He was right. The wet floor sign was on the next set of stairs instead of this one. The cleaning crew was like phantoms since Grandma hired them. Perhaps it was another one of their unfinished jobs. Regardless, Vitale's secure hold filled my chest with an indescribable warmth. Probably because his heart is exposed and like pressed against your back. I pulled away. Forcing myself up the stairs with no comment to him, the silence definitely earned his pointed gaze upon my back. He watched attentively as I let myself into the apartment. Hovering, it would have been funny if Melrose went into the apartment, closed the door, and then Vitale just phased through the wall. But that's not what they did. Melrose let him in, very gracious, hovering around me as I placed the cafe food on the dining table, then walked over to the couch with the gift bag. Lacey bought quite a few miscellaneous things: headphones, a wallet, a refillable water bottle, and a Higgy's gift card. I opened the envelope to find that her mother had left me a $100 bill and a thank you letter, wishing she could spare a little more for me. Oh. I sighed and put the card back in the bag as Vitale sat next to me. Seeing her alive was nice. I shot him a look, but he was fixated on the gift bag. Of all my times, there were hardly ever survivors. So you were watching me when I went to see her too? I had to glance just to make sure you were okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Vitale opened his mouth to say something, but it only left as a sigh. You aren't leaving me much choice, are you, Rose? I will give you your space, if that is what you truly desire. I don't want space. I want you to talk to me. We are talking. We have been talking. You know what I mean. If it's not about what Thanatos said, then there's no conversation to be had. I thought putting my foot down would get him to open up, but Vitale... Oh, we saved it for the ending of the conversation, I guess. No worries. I thought putting my foot down would get him to open up, but Vitale phased through the wall, with an air of aloofness. Then space you will get. Words couldn't express the disbelief that filled my face. Knowing him, it worked out well that I'd said that. He could just avoid me now. All the while, nothing would change, and we'd continue wasting whatever aimless time we spent together. Ugh. He's so stubborn. Alright, this is technically the next sequence, not the next POV, so we'll keep it here. Locked and loaded. 3 hours and 30 minutes. Story saved. I don't... With the other ones... I mean, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna take a couple minutes to kind of try to theorize, but along with Melrose, we simply are not being given enough information to even kind of guess where things were gonna go. Like, by this time, I mean, I guess we've been introduced to Thanatos, and I guess maybe they're gonna fight, but are we gonna kill Thanatos with the magical pen? Are we gonna kill the god of death? Probably not. I feel like that's probably not what's gonna happen here, you know what I mean? But they're probably gonna fight or something. Or are they gonna have a three-way? Are they gonna become a throuple? Probably not that one either. That's probably not it. Sorry. I mean, you know, he's there. Anyway, what's gonna happen? I have no idea. We're at the point, so normally around this is around the point where there's some kind of issue between them. Like when, what was happening with Icardi's route around this period? I guess in Icardi's route, it was the... Was it? I guess the first altercation, like emotional altercation between them was when Melrose wanted to touch the Cupid bow and Icardi wouldn't let him, so he told him to leave. And then after that, it was when Melrose was worried about Icardi getting like sick from learning too much about humans, or what I thought was because he was learning too much about humans, but was actually because he was falling in love. And then Icardi was like, "Don't tell me what to do, I know what I'm doing. I can handle it. Everything's fine." So maybe this is the equivalent of the first issue between them. Like there's usually 2 conflicts before like whatever the major Thespay related climactic situation occurs. But again, we still haven't gotten the second B-plot sequence either, so not that it needs to be formulaic. I kind of I'm kind of very much with the idea of this not being the same formula as the first 2. I'm here for that completely. But the routes themselves are typically about 5 hours long. So if we're hitting the 3-hour mark roughly now, with consideration for the breaks that I took and the music at the beginning of the stream, there's about 2 hours, give or take, 2.5 hours maybe left. I've already saved. Alright, so let's take a look at the extras. Look at some of the CGs that we got. Also, the sinners are the people who transgress against love. I was wondering who the sinners were. But now that we know what God he is, we have our answer. So, we got shower surprise over here. The second time they met, at the carnival. That time Melrose died, it got shot in the chest, saving someone's life. With Vitale in the rain puddle on the ground. Banging. Heart stealing. This CG goes incredibly hard. Really nice. Like, super awesome perspective. Love what's going on up here. Like, everything, it's very nice. It's really nice. High level of culinary skill going on here. The balance of the colors is nice. I guess, is this 60-30-10? Like, black is the 60%, 30 is the heart, the blouse, the nails, and the, and that's it. And I guess the red in the background, and then the 10 is the face. It's white. I think it's good. It's good composition. I really like that. I really like that CG. This one. Look how sad he is. Lovely, beautifully rendered. We enjoyed it. I appreciate, because you get a lot of free content in the 2 demos, so I do appreciate that, what you get from the other 2. I also like this sort of, is this a Dutch angle? I guess this is a Dutch angle, because they're technically standing up when this happens. Like, it's very, you know, I do love and appreciate, and I want to say out loud that it's very cool that the extra content, the final content that you get that wasn't explored in any of the demos, is absolutely worth, like, I think this work is absolutely worth paying for the full game. You know what I mean? Doki Rocky put her whole Doki Rocky in this. And we've still got 6 more to go. The game's not over yet. I just wanted to compliment them because all of these CGs have been really, really nice. And even when I saw this in the demo where you get to see it, I was like, okay, you're not given a lot here, but it's really nice. Oh yeah, I forgot his eyes glow. You catch that? I mean, his eyes are green, but I also like that his eyes are just a variety of colors. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the fact that his outfit is mostly just black and red gives you a lot of space to kind of play with that. Yeah. Really, really nice work. Like, really having a great time with this. I hope you guys are having a great time too. If this is your first time here, we can, while I'm just sitting here kind of sort of killing time, just hanging out, we can go through some of the others. As I was saying before, Melrose is 5'3". And all of the love interests are like 6 foot something. Hold on, let me see the other ones. Dr. Love is 6'5". Icardi is 6'2". And Vitale, as we said before, 6'6". I don't think there's anything new in this gallery. There's 3 more though. Maybe there is a 4th route. I mean, or we're not as far into this route as I thought. Let's take a look. So this one is from the opening. This one is from, these 2 are from Dr. Love. This one is from Icardi. This one is from Icardi. This one is from Dr. Love. These are from the 2 bad endings. This one's from Dr. Love as well. So it could be, these extra 3 could all be from Vitale's route. We actually didn't get any CGs from Vitale's bad ending. Well, not any that go to Melrose, they all go to Vitale. I don't know. I enjoy not knowing, but it is stressing me out a little. It makes me a little bit anxious because, in a good way, because I wish I could just play it right now. But I have to play other video games, specifically Tomb Raider tomorrow. So, if you like this content and you want to see more stuff that I do, I am playing Tomb Raider tomorrow. And Marathon Infinity later this week. I had kind of a rough stream of Marathon Infinity on Sunday, so I did not leave the VOD up. It's okay, I'm allowed to do that. I guess it's at my discretion. But maybe I'll start from the top, but I don't think you really missed that much. But yeah, what I usually do is try to squeeze an extra stream of this somewhere on an off day. So as to keep everything pretty varied in terms of my content during the week. We'll see how that goes based on what the schedule looks like right now. If not, it'll be Monday next week is the next time you'll see this. So put that on your calendars if you want to see what happens with this lovely lovebird, I guess. bird of love. Bird of Fatal Attraction. And Thanatos also. Thanatos will also be there. I was hoping we can get an extra of, like, I was hoping there'd be a CG where you could see Thanatos in full with the upside down torch. Because I kind of want to see what his full body looks like, but maybe we'll get something, we'll get more information after the run is complete. I don't know. Thanks for sitting here with me while I theorize and pour over cute art. We like to have a lot of fun here. These CGs are also really good, mind you. These were in the demos. This is new, really nice. This one, gorgeous, so cute. Like, this isn't to say that the other CGs aren't good, and specifically what I'm saying is that the CGs that you get in the longer form of the game are worth your time. They're all super cute. This obviously mirrors the one that's going on with Vitale. This is happening for a different reason. It's very, you know, a lovely time. No spoilers. I won't spoil the endings here. You can watch the VOD if you want to see those ending CGs. But until then, I hope you eat well, rest well, stay hydrated. I hope I see you in cyberspace. Please take care of yourselves and come back soon. Good luck on your interviews. Good luck on your streams. Good luck with your content creation. Good luck with your loved ones and friends. Your enemies also. Take good care of them. I mean, you know, get them, I guess. Alright, bye. Actually, I don't know if you guys would be interested. Let me see if we can find, since I have a few people here actually, would you be down to be sent on a raid to another similar content creator? Let's browse dating sims and see who's around. Might as well send you to something similar, right? Yeah, let me mute Twitch. Maybe someone's playing Touch Starved. There's a ton of people playing Touch Starved. Okay. Not that they all have a ton of viewers. Anyone with like a little bit of viewers that would not mind like 3 people bouncing in? Touch Starved with no bad words, part 1. Alright, we're going to send ourselves over. Wait, no, that's not live. Are any of these live? Not past videos. Can we see who's live? No one's playing it right now. Alright. Obscura doesn't have its own thing yet. Well, I kind of don't want to just send you guys anywhere. And I can't think of any other. It's so funny. I mean, I guess for the most part, people play Otome games when they first get released, and then I guess intermittently afterward. So the ones that I'm most excited about playing in the near future, don't have anyone in the categories right now, which is okay. I did try to send you guys to someplace fun. What I need to do is build up my network so I know more people who would like to see, whose content I would feel comfortable sending you guys into. Maybe next time. But thanks for sticking with me. Hope to see you guys soon.